because I love it. We should come earlier. Okay, being 5:32 on Monday, August 18th, 2025, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Town of Lake Placid Community Redevelopment Agency, CRA, located at the Town of Lake Placid Government Center, 1069 U.S. Highway 27 North, Lake Placid, Florida. Would everybody please silence your phones? And our town administrator, Charlotte, is going to lead us in the invocation and lead us in the pledge.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Lord, we thank you so much for the privileged opportunity we have to be able to serve the town of Lake Placid. We ask you, Lord, to give us wisdom, discernment, and understanding as we navigate. We ask you, Father, to give us favor and also give us grace as we move forward with the plan set before us. We thank you, Lord, for each family that is represented in the town of Lake Placid. We also praise you for everyone who is in the greater Lake Placid area as well, because they contribute to the success of the town of Lake Placid. We give you all glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, clerk, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Holbrook, Vice Mayor Worley,
Yes.
Councilmember Hayes,
Here.
Councilmember Charles,
Here.
Councilmember Eberhardt,
Here.
Board Member Hartzell,
Here.
Board Member LeBlanc.
Here.
Thank you. We have the consent agenda. 1A is approval of the agenda. Hear a motion in a second, please.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Is there, Ken LeBlanc
second.
seconded the second, Tina. So is there any discussion from dais?
Just page 3, the last sentence says, I suggested something and I didn't. So Councilmember Charles suggested illuminating downtown in green during May to raise mental health awareness. I wasn't aware of that. I don't object to that, but that wasn't me who made that comment. I don't know if you guys recall who did.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The last page of the minutes, the very last sentence, says Mrs. Rodriguez commended town staff for repainting downtown light poles, noting the project demanding logistics and marked aesthetic improvement. Councilmember Charles, so it's somebody, suggested illuminating downtown in green during May to raise mental health awareness, emulating Sebring to foster community dialogue and visibility.
Well, I think that would have been, we Charlotte and I were in Sebring and brought that back.
Okay, so is it Councilmember Eberhardt, you thought you said?
I think we just kind of offhandedly mentioned it.
Yeah, it wasn't me because I wasn't aware of that, so.
It wasn't me either.
It needs to be a proper name, a corrected name is what I'm saying.
And you can either strike it from the minutes, or you can change it however you want to do it to amend your motion.
Strike it,
You can say it was suggested.
or, yeah.
Strike it? So you amend your motion to strike?
Pardon?
You amend your motion to strike?
Oh, okay, so I'll amend my motion to approve the consent agenda with the change to the minutes, that the last sentence say that it was noted that Sebring lights their town in green to foster community dialogue regarding mental health.
Mr. LeBlanc, you amend your second?
Yes, I will.
Any other discussion? Anything from the audience? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Eberhardt,
Yes?
Board Member LeBlanc,
Yes.
Board Member Hayes,
Yes. No, Councilwoman Hayes.
Councilwoman, but that's okay.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
it's all right. Thank you.
Councilmember Worley.
Yes.
Mayor Worley. And Councilmember Charles.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to approval of the...
I'm sorry. Board Member Hartzell.
Yes.
Okay, I actually had asked for approval of the agenda. I think we moved to the minutes, so can we go back and approve the agenda?
You did the consent agenda, though, right? That's what we approved. Yeah. The consent agenda with just the changes to the minutes.
Okay, so we did A and B together, okay. All right, we'll move on to number 2, which is public comments, and we do have somebody that would like to speak. If you could come up, Michael. And he would like to talk about last week's comments on pickleball and the police station budget. This is under public comments.
We're only doing CRA.
I'm not sure about that, so, but he's not here anyway, so.
Our town attorney is here, though, correct? Mr. Harris, because it's a CRA meeting tonight, we're not discussing pickleball and police department. That will be at the next town council meeting, correct?
Those are not CRA-funded projects, are they?
Okay, this is under 2 public comments, request to speak on items not on the agenda.
No, those are not on the agenda, and those are not subject to your jurisdiction.
Okay, so they're not part of this public meeting. So I think maybe next time we should clarify that public comments on CRA, not on the agenda, maybe, just so people know. Let's do that.
Do you have a time period for open comments?
3 minutes unless somebody up here would like to hear more. So there's a 3-minute unless somebody from the dais would like you to continue talking.
Well, I signed up to speak for 3 minutes, and I just want to make sure I get that chance.
And that's what I was just saying, that I had just called for you to speak, and they're saying because it's CRA, it doesn't pertain to this meeting. It's not about us. This is a community redevelopment agency meeting, and I think this is the first time this has ever come up, so I'm sorry. But this is, our town attorney's here, and he's saying because this is not pertaining to community redevelopment agency, the pickleball and the police department are actually not part of the CRA. So you would need to come to our next council meeting, which is, just a second, we'll make sure.
Are you arguing that they should be part of the CRA? That's the only way I can think of that you would get a topic that could be under the jurisdiction of CRA.
This is something new, so I'm sorry. Next time we'll specify. If it's not on the agenda, it still needs to be part of a CRA issue. So I have your information. The next meeting will be September 8th for the town council, and I hope you will come back, and I will personally send you a notification that you can. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Is the confusion because this was a town council meeting and CRA?
Could be.
Yeah.
And see that we were going to have a town council meeting tonight too, and it was canceled. So there's a lot of things that have happened.
That's what I was here for, the council meeting.
Right, and that was canceled. So this is our still town, but CRA. But I will personally make sure you know about the September 8th meeting, and I do want to hear from you. I'm sure we all do. Thank you. Okay, number 3, new business, there's no items. Number 4, old business, we're going to take A, capital improvement plan project review and updates.
Thank you. The Community Redevelopment Agency is requested to review the status of our current capital improvement plan projects within the CRA district and to discuss and prioritize future projects for inclusion or update in the upcoming fiscal year CIP. This item provides a concise snapshot of projects that are currently underway, those that are in procurement and design, and candidate projects for review, ensuring our investments align with the CRA plan and the town's goal to preserve small-town charm while supporting the downtown vitality and economic development. So we did go through and try to move over on your CIP. If you look at it, there are a few items that we would like to go through and look at more in depth. One of them is downtown signage. We're going to want to move that over to 25-26 so that we have time to continue working with Central Florida Regional Planning. And then we also have the downtown flags and banners. Obviously, that's another one that we'd like to move over to the 25-26. And we will update this and send it out. We just wanted to bring it forward for us to have discussion.
And the Stewart Park electrical line above that?
Yes, ma'am.
The what?
The Stewart Park, there are 3 lines in a row that should have been slid over into this coming year.
So can we go over those again, what we're doing here? And is this is what we're doing, or this is what we're proposing, and then we vote on, or what's our order of business here?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to follow along of what our order of business for this is going to be, and I think we've just jumped around, that's fine. So we're moving some things, and I wanted to try to mark them appropriately and then ask, are these items then we are going to discuss and we vote on? Is that what? And right now, this, just for clarification, please, because then we're going to be doing a budget. So I'm trying to understand what we're going to do tonight on these projects and then what we're going to do for the budget.
We're going to go through the CIP, and once we're done with the CIP, as we go through this, you'll decide how we're going to move it. I think it will go in tandem with the budget itself. And then we don't vote on the budget, the council votes on the budget when we go through the budget process. And then just a reminder that anything that we have on the town CIP, that we cannot put it on the CRA CIP for 3 years. So just some of those notes to keep in mind. So the yellow are completed or in process. So we can go through each one of them if you'd like.
Well, that was one of my confusion was the things, the Oak Street, no, not Oak Street, that was done. Stewart Park, the signage, and the flags and banners, those 3 line items, they were already decided to be worked on, but they should have been slid over into the next year so we get a true bottom line number of what's in the budget, right? And then my other thing is on the bottom line here, the money that we have to work with did not align. It's hard to know what the total was. It says 302,000 is all we have for 25-26, but the town budget says 338, and neither number includes the carryover. So I don't know what we have to work with.
With the totals. I got you.
And let me ask you something to clarify. So when we look at 25-26 now, and it says $5,000 in downtown signage, $5,000 in downtown flags and banners, is that what we were projecting in the next budget's money we were going to want to use? So if we move over, for instance, $20,000 from downtown signage to 25-26, it's going to add on top of what we had projected we would want to do next year's budget. Of course, we can adjust it then, but, so, okay, so anything in 25-26 now was what we thought we would want to put in from the next year's budget, which we have not yet finalized or figured out, right? So, so everything that's not yellow on the left is money that was not spent last year. Is everything that's in yellow actually was spent last year, or generally it was, or?
That is correct.
Okay, so, okay.
But if you look at the doll, for example, to clarify, if you look at the 151 Doll Hall, it was budgeted at 20,000, and then below that, the lines are the running balance of what was spent, and then the remainder. The remainder is 6,329. So that remainder, 6,329, should be carried over into this upcoming year, and it was not. So it's hard to tell what we have.
So everything that's in the balance line item is money that was not spent this year, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Can we just go down them? I mean, it might be easier because that's kind of where I'm lost too, trying to figure out, okay, what did we budget? And I think in the project cost 23, 24, 24, 25 column, right? That's what we budgeted? And then trying to see, like, it looks like Journal Plaza, we budgeted nothing, but it was a carryover. We spent $74,000, but the project cost estimated at 40. Okay. So, and let's just stay with just to kind of pick one of them, because the downtown signage, we said we're going to spend $20,000. We have nothing. And now we're saying, no, we're going to break it into 4 years of $5,000 each. Am I reading that right?
Yes, that was already there. And so what we're saying is that because we didn't do this in 24, 25, we need to take that 20,000 and we need to move it over to 25, 26.
But added to the 5,000 that's
Added?
already there, because
Correct.
those 5,000, while it adds up to the 20, it was not actually part of the 20. It was intended that we'd keep
40?
spending money each year
Okay.
and allocating in forward years. We'd have to allocate it, which we haven't yet. So we'd actually be having 25,000 theoretically allocated.
Okay, gotcha.
And can I ask you just a general question? So I know last year when we did budgeting, we found that there was money sitting there that had not got spent in the year before, right? This year, there's money that we had that we didn't spend in this year. So generally speaking, how much do we actually have that's not spent from previous years and this year at the end of this budget, or at this moment, right? I mean, are we talking, that's going to carry over and add on top of what we get in this next budget cycle, right? Are we talking hundreds of thousands, or what are we talking about generally?
Hundreds?
Yes, and I apologize. Rachel is out, as we stated before. She is out due to a death in the family. So we are filling in the gaps, and Eva worked on this heavily, and it is our reality. So it is not an excuse, but Eva is out now sick as well. So I'm going to do my best to answer the questions. But do you
Yeah.
have that, the numbers there, Ken? That was in we have a booklet that we put together for the budget workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the numbers that we provided for
So
CRA.
this says 219,609 in the 24-25 year, ending just a month ago. So that means we spent 219,000 in the last budget cycle. Okay, but how much is left in the bank that's not been spent to
I will
date?
have to get that for you.
You'll have to get it.
I
got
will,
you.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Rachel was trying to firm that up last week. I was out for a
Okay.
conference,
I
and
got you.
then due to the death in her family, she was not able to get me any
Yeah.
updated numbers outside of this right
And do
now.
we know yet what amount is going to get added to the budget in the next cycle, or it's too soon to know?
It's too soon to know that yet.
Okay. But theoretically, it shouldn't be less than last year's.
No,
It should be
No.
more.
no.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be less.
Yeah, okay.
It shouldn't be less.
Okay, that clarifies a lot, thank you.
Where are you seeing 219,000?
Oh, she just
Where
handed
do you
it.
see that?
Do you want to hand it back, and I'll give it to Nell? Yeah, sorry.
So we need to be saying this in the microphone, not, hey, Ken, we shouldn't be having sidebar.
Oh, sorry.
So that other
I'll
people
explain
can't
what it
hear.
just said.
Showing me this.
I understand, but we've got the public, and
Yeah.
and you have to,
Sure, no, I'll explain.
go ahead, Ken,
So she
explain.
had a sheet of paper
I won't
that
ask any more
showed how much
questions,
money
I'm
was expensed in this last category year, and it's 219,000 according to the sheet was spent. But I think our budget year started off with over 300,000 available, right? But I don't know the exact number. That's what we're figuring out.
And we're not doing the budget tonight, we're just reviewing projects as they were done. I don't know if anybody has any questions about the ones in yellow that were actually done. Any kind of review on those? I don't think we really have any updates. I think it's pretty much what, the figures are what they are as far as what's happened this year.
I could
So-
go through if I could. I could highlight, I know they're not numbered, so maybe we'll take and number the projects where it'll make it easier for ease of looking at
If
it.
you want to just go down and then just say this,
Okay.
whatever, just go down all of them then.
Well, I was going to say, if we, on the, as Councilwoman Eberhardt said on the first page, the three that were highlighted, that's the three we would like to slate over and just move over to the 25, 26. We would propose that. If you flip the page, though, and go to the next page, I'd like to draw our attention to, let me see. I got it, Tina. I'll try to, let me see if I can blow it up. But if we will look at the Dow Hall parking and sidewalk,
Okay?
we're saying to move that over as well, because we still need to work on that project. The other thing is the Dow Hall patio, so right above that. And Harry, you may have to help me out here a little bit on this one, because Eva and I wrote in, I think we spent about $1,000 on that, but there's still 19,000.
patio?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about on the patio?
Yes, sir.
We haven't spent anything yet. I'm waiting on, I have GNR developer, or excuse me, GNN developers are supposed to get a drawing, a preliminary drawing for that. It costs $500, but the company that is supposed to be doing that has yet to supply us with their W-9 so we can put the requisition in and get them paid. So I'm waiting on them to submit that before I can put the requisition in for that.
So there will be 20,000 that'll carry over, because we don't anticipate that work will be completed before the new budget starts.
Do you want that in a motion when we get to the end of this?
Yes,
we-
ma'am.
okay.
With the suggested changes.
Yep.
And we could do it all at one time if we'd
Yes,
like.
let's do it all at one time.
So we have the Dow Hall patio, 20,000. We have the Dow Hall parking and sidewalk that we would like to move over. And we have, so as Mr. LeBlanc said, it would carry over the 20 and add it, I'm sorry, the 60, and then move over.
No, it has 40 to move over, so do you want to move 60 or 40?
We would
Well,
move,
that'll be 100, right?
I'm sorry.
Wouldn't that would, the 40 is what we projected next year we would spend, right? So
correct, but
we
on
have
this,
60 now. Yeah, yeah.
on this item, we would say move the 60 over to the 25, 26, and move the 40 over to the following year, which would be the 26, 27.
We've
I'm
spent-
sorry, now I'm confused. Where are you coming with the 40?
Okay, on page 2, it's got the Dow Hall patio. The next one is Dow Hall parking and sidewalks, and it says 60,000. The suggestion is to move it, the 60,000 over to 25, 26, and move the 40 over to 26, 27.
Perfect, thank you.
And that would all be part of the motion at the end.
Correct.
Okay, does everybody agree on that?
Okay, I'm following again. How about this, the 3 Taylor Park issues, we want to move that over to 25, 26 as well?
Yes, ma'am, that would be correct.
Okay, so that 15,000 would move over, and we're talking about Taylor Park sidewalk, 15,000 to 25, 26. The
Yes,
next one's Taylor Park irrigation, move that over to 25, 26. And then Taylor Park trees, 5,000, go ahead and move that over to 25, 26.
Gotcha.
Does everybody agree on that?
I'm good.
Say that again, Deb, let me mark it up, please.
Okay,
Can you say that again?
so we agreed on the patio, Dow Hall patio, moving it over. The 60,000 is going over to the parking and sidewalk to 25, 26, and the 40,000 that's slated for 25, 26 for that parking and sidewalk is going to 26, 27. So there'd be 60,000 and 40,000. Dow Hall Playground, we're not going to do anything with that. We're going to leave it at 50. The next one's Taylor Park Sidewalk, 15,000. We're going to move that over to 25, 26. Taylor Park Irrigation, 10,000. We're going to move that over to 25, 26. Taylor Park Trees, remove that 5,000 over to 25, 26.
Okay, thank you.
And then move all the remaining balances on various items over to 25, 26.
What's that?
So all the remaining balances were things that were started, but we have money left. We have to either move it over or total, if the project is done, we need to total it and somehow get it back in.
When does the budget end for CRA? Because I have a estimate here to do more work that's in that, it's left over 6,000 for the 20,000 budget we had for the rehab.
It follows with our budget, so the new budget will begin in October.
So do you want me to wait on that till October or continue working over there?
No, you can continue right now, the money's there. Money's there. We'll be able to true it up. And remember that the budget itself, the way that it is written, we break it out on our CIP by projects, but that is not how the budget reads, so it gives us a little flexibility on the actual CRA budget. That was all we had on this page, but if you flip to the next page, we do want to draw your attention to, under the Stewart Park pavers, if you look where it says Devane Park railing, we have Devane Park camera system and Devane Park gazebo roof.
This is at the bottom quarter of the page. And could you say that again, please?
Yes, ma'am. If we look at, there's the Devane Park railing, we have at 30,000. We also have Devane Park camera system at 15, a Devane Park gazebo roof at 30. So this is really for the gazebo, and there's been a lot of discussion about this. Alan is out, obviously, so Harry has graciously accepted to help out. Alan has said that this just needs to all be clumped together for the gazebo at Devane Park. Part of what we've been told is that the railing is going to cost too much to replace. Harry, what did Alan say exactly about that to you on that? Do you recall?
He said that the railing is going to be about, what did he say, 75,000
That's what I thought, yeah.
to replace?
Just the railing.
With gold?
Because it's, he said, is it gold?
That's my reaction. What?
Where's that estimate coming from?
My understanding is he said that because it is more so of a home build opposed to a commercial build, and they said that they have patched and tried to basically duct tape it as much as they can, and we can't any longer, and so the safety of the structure is in question. So it has to be totally replaced. So we're going to have to get more, we need to get some more quotes and some work on this.
I don't question it being replaced, it's the price tag.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, what are we going to replace it with? I'm assuming at that price, you're talking about doing aluminum powder coated or something like
It was
that.
some type of metal railing he was replacing it, wanting to
Yeah.
replace it with.
It sounds like to me that he's saying if you put the 30,000, 15,000, and 30,000, just lump it together, that's 75,000 for the gazebo, and then they can spend it on the gazebo as necessary. Okay,
One
so,
of the reasons the price was driven up was the lengths of each piece of railing. No two are the same. Each one would have to be independently fabricated by hand to fit. That's one of the reasons the price were driven up the way they were. It's nothing on that is uniform. So every individual piece would have to be fabricated individually, is what Alan was saying.
Well, I guess the question is it a system, that's being used, or is it being fabricated from scratch from a fabricator who's cutting steel and, welding each piece and stuff like that? you know, so I guess it depends on what kind of system you're doing, whether it matter. If you're using a system, it doesn't matter what lengths. You can order them, they'll come to your lengths. But if you're doing instruction, you know, steel, and having your steel, you know, powder coated or something like that, I guess. So I guess, you know, it's hard for us to understand why it'd be so expensive, because we don't know the system you're talking about using, you know. So I guess you're not going to use PVC again, is that right?
Correct.
So you want to go to metal,
Yes.
right? So it's either going to be aluminum or steel, you know. And you don't know which yet, or you do know?
I do not know what he's,
You don't know the answer to that.
haven't estimated.
Yeah. I guess the key is you want to get multiple prices, you know, so that you feel comfortable with spending that much money. Yeah.
I'm sure during the year he'll come back to us, but what I guess he's saying here is that lump it all together, and then he's going to have to work on seeing the pricing. So I think that was the object, to just move that 30,000, 15,000, 30, all to lump them together for 75,000 and just name it gazebo. And that way he can try to get it worked out.
So I have a Councilwoman Eberhardt comment is, and I'm glad that, you know, our town attorney is here. We during the budget meeting, we had the discussion if CRA money can be used for repairs or if it needs to be new. We talked about roads, but now we're talking about a gazebo.
Yeah, okay, and I told Charlotte, I emailed her, I got my head straight, I reviewed the documents. When I heard, I had originally talked to Christy Vasquez from the Sebring CRA, like when day 2 on the job, and I remember her saying you cannot be used for maintenance. It was very clear on that. And so that stuck in my head. And I think the interpretation is it cannot be used for mowing the lawns, that kind of maintenance.
Oh, general fund operations versus...
Yeah, so, but resurfacing or whatever is okay.
Okay, so you don't have a concern. I know you've brought it up a couple times. I mean, clearly, the gazebo is an important icon in that park and needs to have whatever repairs need to be done.
So we're good.
Okay.
So we can't charge off pressure washing, but we can do actual repairs. So, okay, does everybody agree on that? Then we're going to just lump those 3 categories, railing, camera system, and gazebo roof, into 75,000, and then we'll address it during the year, what it's going to be used for.
Okay, and before we go too far, the 15,000 for park benches that wasn't spent this year should also slide over.
Where's that at? I'm sorry.
Just above the
Okay, I
divan.
see. Okay, so that would give you, though, that would be 30,000. You want to add it, you want to bring that 15 over and make 25, 26, 30,000? Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing, yeah.
Okay, so that'll be part of the motion as well.
Our goal is to have this cleaned up, and we will also send it out with more updated numbers. And we will email it, and then it will also be discussed in our council meeting, because the town council will vote on it.
Now, would it be appropriate for me to suggest other projects, or
Yes, ma'am, this is the time. We want to
Okay.
know so that we can incorporate that in
is
here.
there are 2 things I'm thinking. We just had the street lights repainted, and they look wonderful. I would like to take the money that was going to be used for street lights and use it for playgrounds, and push the lighting off indefinitely. The street lights, to me, that was a wish, and playgrounds are more important.
Can I just interject quickly here? I've been doing a little calculating with the pen and the calculator here. Our paper here says that we would have, for 24, 25, $337,000. If we add in everything that we talked about just now, that we're going to move into 25, 26, that's a total of $205,000. So that would give us a total that we are moving into 25, 26 of $542,000. So if that was correct. Now, wait a second, that's not right. Because that 337 includes some of that we spent. It includes everything in that column, even what is in yellow. So I have to subtract that out. So I'll do that in just a moment. But I can come up with a number. The remaining balances that we have, and we have in 3 projects, we have remaining balances. Streetscape of $17,405, the Dow Hall building of $6,329, and Stewart Park pavers, $5,005, for a total of $28,739. I don't know if any of these projects have additional monies to be spent or that could be spent by the end of the year. But that's where we are with that.
Actually, it's got to be spent in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have to be something that maybe is already on the burner,
Right,
you know?
you know, you buy something and plug it in, right? That's what we used to call it, that,
Yeah,
versus a
right,
construction.
You know,
Exactly.
Joey, I would just like to follow up on the comment you're making for the lighting. Lighting to me is important, right? I mean, you go down Main Street, I mean, and again, the Christmas parade, it is dark, and there are some areas you have to use flashlights to get, especially in the women's club and that, in front of there. So the lighting, I think, is a priority for safety. So I would not like to see lighting, at least the replacement bulbs or something, to be pushed out. I mean, I'd rather see benches pushed out because they're, you know, even though they're nice, they're cosmetic, but lighting is what's critical. And when Florida Regional Planning had its workshops, that was something that came out very strong with the lighting. As far as the question I have of adding more things, the only thing on playgrounds is we're going to have the master plan. If we want to put contingent money somewhere, that's fine, but we're going to have the master plan, and I'd rather them come back with what we need where, and then they'll even have estimate of how much it costs. Because, and we are talking about moving money, but we're moving it, and so we're still going to get the numbers from Eva. I don't have those with me. Charlotte, do you, of how much new CRA money is coming our way? My back of the envelope, it's going to be $200,000-300,000 more. So that's going to help us in kind of those additional projects that we would like to see. And I wanted to come back to the sidewalks at some point, because we talked about the Park Street sidewalk, the people getting down to, you know, the Historical Museum. You get a lot of people that come in and they go down to the Historical Museum. And we really need to somehow address that, you know, versus them walking in the road and then walking up the road and that. So I know that was something we were supposed to do. Whether that's part of a bigger master plan, I'm fine, but I don't want to lose the thought of sidewalks for walkability and safety are very important, should be prioritized higher.
Yeah, I think somehow the Park Street was taken out, but it should be in there.
The what?
I think Park Street was taken out, but I agree, it should
No,
be in there.
It's in here.
Is it?
It's just we skipped over it. Yep,
It-
it's just a very thin line right
Is
there.
Park Street the sidewalk that's supposed to go from the train museum up to the chamber? Yeah, yeah, I think
Yep.
that just, I mean, honestly, that needs to get engineered, I assume. We have to have some engineer, since I don't think we have a town engineer now. We probably need to get some kind of engineer to engineer that so that it can get quoted, so it can get done. So if nothing else, get the engineering going.
That is a much larger project, and I would love to say that it would be done quickly, but if you recall in our budget workshop, for us to get, for it to be engineered, it's going to cost us over $70,000, and we did not budget for that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So it's $70,000 for us to be able to get a downtown street and pavement plan, which would include sidewalks. The other caveat.
So you're talking, though, the wider downtown, not just that one path?
We have to address, you're going to have to address everything, because we also have a stormwater issue that has to be
Yeah, that's
addressed
true.
down there.
Yeah.
So it can't be just a cherry picked. We're going to have to do it, I'm going to say this, but the right way. We're going to have to do it the right way.
So are you saying the $70,000 engineering cost will actually address downtown drainage issues and sidewalk issues all at the same time?
Correct. And it also will evaluate the current condition of all of our roads that we are responsible for, and will set us up for a pavement replacement plan or resurfacing or
Right.
whatever the case may be.
However, will that actually be engineered plans that we could, act upon and use to get bids to get the work done?
Correct, by Kimley Horn, and the city of Sebring and city of Avon Park have both used them, and they've already implemented it to be part of the bigger plan with the county, because the county is required to handle our stormwater.
Right, and if that's something the CRA is allowed to pay for, the $70,000 in engineering costs,
Not that I've been able,
We're not
I
allowed
did
to.
speak with Jennifer Cotto Salisbury at the Florida League of Cities. We all just returned, so she was going to look at that a little bit more in depth.
Okay, that's important. I
But I
mean,
don't
whether
think so.
it be us or the town pay for it, that I think definitely needs to be addressed. I'd like to say something, I do think there's something we can do to spend some more of this money, maybe even this year, because we've done so much work with flower pots and landscaping, everything we already have, we know what it costs and so on. I think that something that I think maybe you've brought up in the past was we could put flower pots on, we had originally planned to put flower pots on Interlake. We ended up re-landscaping Interlake, but not putting any flower pots, right? There are probably landscape areas on Interlake that have landscaping and irrigation right now that we could drop some flower pots, the same pots that we used on Main Street, drop those same pots into Interlake landscape areas where they don't block traffic view, and don't have to do pavers on it because it's inside a landscape area, so it does need pavers, and we simply take the irrigation that's already in there, put a whip into the flower pot and into the reservoir, and we could probably add some flower pots into Interlake pretty easily. We just have to identify which locations work, don't obstruct view, and stuff like that. So we might be able to spend some more money to do some of the flower pots that we originally planned on doing Interlake. But we sidetracked it because we knew that we didn't have irrigation on those concrete triangles, right? So, but I do think there are places that we could put this into downtown very easily on Interlake, cost effectively. No pavers, just pots and flowers with irrigation that's existing. And maybe we could explore that, spend some more of that money.
So what we have here is, when I do the calculations correctly, we have $393,000 that we're going to be moving from this year into 25-26. The remaining balances the total remaining balances is streetscape, $17,405, the Dell Hall building, $6,329, and Stewart Park pavers, $5,005, which gives us a total of $28,739 that are the remaining balances in the accounts that we have so far. Would it be possible to take some of that $17,405 in the streetscape and use it for some more of these flower pots? Or is there any possibility to move any of that money into doing a little something in the parks? Can we move that into something in the parks? Maybe, can we move streetscapes to park? I don't know what we're allowed to do here, but.
You can, Councilwoman Hayes, because this is our CIP, and the way that it's broken out on the budget is it's just with the GL numbers. It's not specific to projects. They're not specific to projects.
So you're saying
the
we can?
Yes, ma'am, you
We
can.
can,
You
okay.
can, and I do have numbers for you, because my town clerk, Madam Clerk Eva, is homesick, and she's tuning in anyways, because that's how dedicated she is. So estimated next year revenue for the town is $112,636, plus $242,244 that will be contributed from the county. So we have a total estimated at $354,880 anticipated for next year.
For 25-26.
Yes, ma'am.
Additional, yeah.
In
Additional.
addition to
Plus
the
the
390.
carryover.
Additional to the balance that we have right now.
I swear I was talking. Oh, well. In addition to the 393. So that would give us about 700,000 altogether.
So we can do lights and parks.
Correct.
Yeah.
If I
But-
learned
but
anything while I
just-
was,
I just want to clarify the question that we made about streetscape and moving that. Then streetscape comes off and is replaced with something?
Well, yeah, but I think we'd have to add it back in.
That's what I'm
Next
saying,
year,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, but just on this process, I don't know that we pull off, we pull off this year versus push it outward because it's a CIP. It's just the timing of when it's spent is what we're saying. So we would push it out to a future year so you could use that funding next year for something else. It wouldn't fall off.
Yes, I think that's the idea, because the streetscape, 17,000, if we can use some of it now and put some pots on Interlake, I think our businesses on Interlake would be pleased with that. And I would like to see it go into the parks, into some of the equipment, but there's no way in heaven we can get the equipment in the time frame like you indicated. It's like 6 weeks. But so if we take that remaining balance and move it over, that changes my numbers, of course, but that's good. That we can move that over into next year, and then we have money there for the parks.
I think also when we think about doing playgrounds and parks, we should think about shade structures in parks. It's so hot these days, put 4 big poles with big, covering or something.
Some of these things come with it, don't they kind of come with it?
No, there are options, but absolutely.
But
We
the
talked
options are
about
good.
trees, but then trees become high maintenance in that. You talk about the sunshades, and then the downside, I don't agree with, but the downside is, hurricanes, and you have to take them down, but, those are the things you look at. Absolutely, we need the sunshades.
so I'm going to throw some numbers out there for you on sunshades.
Pardon?
I will throw a few numbers out there, depending on the size. We're looking at a minimum of 40,000 for a small one, for one.
Yeah,
And
that's
we just learned that at the league conference. So just keep that in mind, that when we have the playground, so they encourage the trees because of the cost of putting in so many shades, or there are options. I do have some pictures when we get finished with this that we'll be able to show you on some different parks that we looked at, but they said a mix and a combination between the trees and the shade structures because it makes it more cost effective.
I'm okay with trees, for shade, as long as if it's well thought out. I think, concrete sidewalks, park benches on concrete pads, tables on concrete pads, trees planted in, the right location to create shade where the kids are going to play and stuff. I think that's all really good planning. So I think, aren't we talking about somebody coming into all our parks and
Yeah, and that's
planning
what we call it the master plan.
Yeah, and when I said
that
parks, I was
happening?
thinking just put in a chunk of money on a line item and wait for the master plan, but just get it
Yeah,
down here
yeah.
that it's in our heads.
Is
Allocate
that-
the money and then wait for the plan.
Yeah. Is a master plan in the works right now?
It
Is
was,
that something that
yeah,
the
Charlotte,
council
you can,
did?
Charlotte, it was approved at the last meeting to go ahead and proceed, so is there any update on when they're going to start?
There's no update. There's no update. We had council meeting last Monday, and I left right after that for Florida League of Florida League of Cities, and returned late last night. So no, there is no update. I'm sorry, not right now. I will have that forthcoming later.
I just want to make one more quick comment here. We have to, I think, we have to work in concert with our code enforcement people, with Dana too, because we're talking about doing downtown signage and flags and banners, which right now we can't do the way our codes are. So these things have to go hand in hand, because we could allocate this money for next year and want to put flags and banners, because that's, again, what the downtown merchants want, and I agree with their want in that regard, but our hands are tied because our code doesn't allow us to do that right now.
Well, that's why it had to get moved from this year to the next year
That's
because
right.
of that.
But then we have to remember, next year, we have to address that. Yeah.
Well, I think the idea is to get the plan, and then we do the change any kind of code issues at the same time. We do it all at once.
That would be good.
Right.
I mean,
So we're
that's
just
over-
waiting for the plan. I agree that we should wait, not harem, scarum. I mean, I'd love to see us start working on parks, but I think we have to wait for the master plan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just sticking something in there because we're trying to do something, I don't agree with that. I think,
Well, no, I didn't mean just stick something in. I meant
No, I agree
put
with
the
you.
money in as a line item, and so with the intent that when the master plan is developed, then we use whatever is in this line item.
No, I agree with you totally. And then I wanted to just say too that I've had so many compliments, never had so many compliments except on the flower pots. People really, really like those. So I just wanted to throw that in there too. I think they would look nice on Interlake, and I
And the
agree.
people-
They would love, the merchants would love to see that.
Yeah,
So-
people on Interlake are clamoring for pots.
So, I mean, can we leave this meeting today knowing that, you know, Charlotte and the town is going to work towards getting pots on Interlake using money we already have, that's, you know, excess money this year? And then do we need to add more money? Because I think we have, what, $6,000 left over from that kind of category? So will we need to move money from another category to that category in order, or you think we have enough?
If you just, well, I'm going to look at my town attorney over here. Because the CIP is project-specific, however, the budget is not. If you make a decision here and you make a vote that says that if it's anything over the 6,000, you authorize the town administrator and staff to move forward with and put a cap on it. We've done that before, where you could say not to exceed over whatever the amount is that you want it to be. I believe we could do it that way. I don't know, I'm looking at my boss over here, town attorney.
I
On
was
the
trying to
legal
follow
aspect.
what you're trying to do, and I could not.
Okay.
Could you try that again, please?
So we have a remaining balance of, say, $6,000 for a project,
Okay.
but they would like to be able to allocate additional money to go to that project. They would just make a motion for that.
Same project.
Same project,
What's
No,
changing?
you're going to move it from one project into this one.
correct.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, correct.
Is that a budget amendment?
No, it would not have to be a budget amendment.
So you're just, that's a
Moving
lot,
it from one line to another.
and it's already allocated for that project?
It's already, so the way that it's set up for the CRA is it's very different. We have GL codes that we use overall, and our CIP is project-driven. So the CIP has projects. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's no different. All the money is in your checking account, no matter how you use it.
But it's a budget amendment because you're moving
Move
it
it
from
from-
one project to another. We're moving it from a streetscaping project that was approved to a landscaping project.
She's saying, no, it's not, that it's a general line item.
Correct. On the budget itself, it's a general line item. So we're using this as though it's our budget, but it's not. This is just the CIP. So the capital improvement.
Are you going to do that before your next CRA meeting? Is that the point?
We will
Yes.
actually do this at council, because council will have to vote on the
Why don't we
budget.
answer that by council?
Correct. So we're good then? Correct. Okay, so yes, you can.
So,
You can make the decision here, and then council will vote on it when we do our budget.
so you need the 6,000, do you need another figure additional up to? We need an up to figure, so take the 6,000 and then add to whatever
I
you all
think
decide.
12, I mean, I would say let's add 12,000, give you 18,000. I don't know that you're going to spend that much, but, you know, I want you to be able to accomplish, you know, decent flower pots and flowers on Interlake.
I'm
you know.
looking at you.
Yeah, I just
We
wanted to
have to move
clarify, I wanted to clarify, because in past meetings, we've made decision in the meeting to move like
X amount from
32,000
this
from one
project
to the other. We approved it, and off we went, and that's how we ended up having the money for South Main. So I
We
don't
need to-
understand why this would have to go, because we're a CRA board,
Right.
properly noticed. You know, budget items is a whole different, I kind of want to get into, but what we're doing right now is managing the budget for 24, 25 that have been approved, but we're saying, because some things aren't being done, we want to take money from streetscape that's already in the 24, 25 budget and move that to
Flower pots.
flower, right? And I don't think it has to go to the next town council meeting. I think that's part of this decision-making board.
Yes, so you will make the decision here, but you don't set, you're making the projects, but the council has to vote for this to be the budget, if that makes sense.
But next year's budget, yes, but this year's budget, do they have to vote
No,
after?
no.
Right,
Because
that's what
I'm
I'm
talking
saying.
about spending money now,
Yeah.
before next year's budget, to get flower
Then yeah,
pots
you
on
just have to
Interlake.
move it. You're just going to move it.
No, what we're talking about is moving money from streetscape and lighting into downtown flower pots, all within the CRA budget, not moving into the town budget or anything else, just from one line to the other, just as simply as we took 32,000 from septic and sewer and 30,000 from the Park Street sidewalks to come up with 92,000 in downtown flower pots in the first place. So all we're doing now is going to take this extra, we're going to use the 6,000 that's extra, plus some of whatever we want to say, that's 17,405 that's left in the streetscape, to move that to downtown pots.
All in this budget year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and our year ends on September 30th, so
So do we need a motion for that?
it's only a month, so our year end is not December 31st, it's
September 30th.
30th, so it's going to come really fast. So if we change this now,
Yeah.
and we do, okay, how much additional do you want to add? Now, Mr. LeBlanc, are you talking 12,000 total with the 6, or add 12 to the 6?
I was saying add 12, but I'm not sure where the $17,000 number that Nell Hayes said was coming from.
That's
I
right
saw
here.
20,000.
Oh, I guess I can't tell you that because the public can't look.
Yeah.
But it's in streetscape and lighting, it says balance. The streetscape and lighting was $12,000.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Okay.
17,000. Yeah. Yeah, and we got 6 left. So I would say, let's take maybe 10,000 of that amount and add it to the 6,000 that's left in the other category. So, and then we'll leave 7,000, in the lighting budget, basically. So I guess I'll make a motion to take $10,000 from the streetscape and lighting category, add it to the balance of what's in the, all right, having a hard time figuring out where the
Downtown
title
flower
is.
pots.
Downtown flower pots, which I'm still not finding. So add that to the downtown flower pots budget. And then, and that being, if we approve that, right? And if it's in there, then the town can spend the money. They don't have to wait months to spend it. They could actually order pots whenever they're ready, right? Right? It doesn't have to go back in front of town council, which is what you guys were saying. We don't have to go back in front of town council. They have the budget then to spend.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that's my motion. Take $10,000 from the streetscape and lighting budget and put it into downtown flower pots.
I think we were
And-
going to wait till the end, but we can do a motion in the middle if you want to, or we can do it all at the end and say this is part of the end of the
Okay.
motion. And that motion would be that everything that we've discussed and agreed on at the end of it, and this will be something you all agree on.
Yeah,
Does
that's how
everybody
you wanna
agree on
do it.
that? Okay, on adding the 10? Okay. All right, so at the end of this, we're going to make one motion to do all of these changes.
Well, on the other hand, maybe we should make it simpler and cut it up rather than a 5-minute motion reiterating everything. Make one motion for the things that get transferred over, another motion for this one, and then if anything else comes up, it'd be an additional motion.
Whatever you all, what's your pleasure? Whatever you all would like to do. You can do it any way we want to, as long as it's approved. So, I mean, is there any other things that people want to discuss?
I have one more. The Sebring CRA is transferring some of their money for police presence in downtown Sebring. And it's partly just for police presence, and sometimes it's just like if somebody needs information. So I was wondering, Chief, how you would feel about it if we took whatever hours, like 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and then that money would that would bring down the required revenues from the town budget, transfer that to the CRA budget. It would kind of help us try to cut down on our mill rate.
Does
Yeah,
our,
that's if you would want your guys walking around downtown for a couple hours a day.
I'll call it bylaws,
Yes, it allows
allow
for,
that? I know ours is different than Sebring.
yeah, no, I checked that out. It does allow for, let me see.
For
What
salaries?
does it say here? It says, on page 54 of our bylaws. We have the power to approve the development of community policing innovations. And on page 64, also allow our support for increased or dedicated Town of Lake Placid Police Department patrol within the district. So it's definitely within our purview. But it's up to you.
I'm not sure that it will really reduce our other budget because I think the officers have to be available to go out on call, and they would be leaving to go out on call.
Well, that's something we would have to look at, because right now we do only run one officer per shift. To dedicate them to foot patrol, they're not able to respond as rapidly. What we would have to look at is possibly creating a position for that,
Yeah,
to do that type of foot
Well,
patrol.
yeah, unless they would have their patrol car nearby and they could go to a call.
Yep.
But if
That
it's
would work.
if it's a dedicated position, like it says there,
No.
it doesn't say
No,
dedicated?
it doesn't say dedicated position. Support for or patrol within the district.
Okay.
And just a reminder, when Sebring is doing that, they run 3 officers and a supervisor per shift. There's a total of 4 minimum out there at any given time. So they can pull one off to do that foot patrol while the others are still answering calls, and it doesn't affect their response times. Where with us, that would affect response times greatly. Again, if you get out of your car and you start walking,
You're going to come back.
you have to come back.
So we'd probably have to add a position to do that, wouldn't we? No, we wouldn't.
Either
We could
add or
just-
reallocate what we're already doing.
Well, okay, and
I'm not going to say it's an impossibility. I believe that there may be a possibility we could use one of our reserve officers possibly for that position and have them come out and do foot patrol.
Okay. And I was trying to be creative on how to reduce the amount the town needs to get the millage rate down by transferring it over to the CRA.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we can explore that, but with one officer, you can't, I don't know how that's going to, I think we should explore it, and if it works, that'd be great. If not, then we just have to, that's a great idea, so. But I don't know that you can really, I don't know. We only have one.
I think we need to be very careful strategizing of what you just said to reduce the millage rate by putting funding over in the CRA. I would want the town attorney to look to see based on that sentence. And again, Sebring's has a whole different CRA, and we know that. So just let's put it to him to see, is that something that can be done? What does innovation really mean? So,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm just throwing it out for an idea.
can we come back to playgrounds? I mean, we've kind of scooched over it. I do think, and we are kind of in the middle here we've approved a master plan. It's going to kick off. It's probably going to take a couple months, and they're going to come back with the 12 different parks. A lot of them are within the CRA districts. We can get, matching grants with RPAC. We are informed you can get up to $75,000 a year, but you have to match it, right? So, and again, maybe I'm jumping ahead for the budget for next week's, but we have been jumping ahead, right? When we said parks and that. So, Charlotte, do you want to just anything beyond what we've just shifted over, what we already have, just table it for a discussion at the budget meeting?
We actually have, if we go through, the next topic that we have is 4B. If I could make a suggestion, maybe we pause this portion and go through, and then let's circle back around to this, because I think as we walk through this, there will probably be additional changes that we will note. I know that we don't want to do any playgrounds, but we have to keep in mind that we do have a FERDAP grant that we have to act on immediately.
August 1st, the window opens.
It's already opened, and so we need to make a decision here this evening on where we would like that to be, so.
Let's go ahead and put this on pause. We're going to come back to, we haven't finished 4A, we're going to come back to that after we talk about B, park priorities in the CRA district.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Okay, finishing, not finishing, but close to finishing, the audience, please.
Pam Petras, 12373 Lost Lake Drive, Lake Placid. So as I read your agenda packet and went on the web and looked at the CRA mission statement and read the 60-something page report, this is what hit home to me, the mission of the CRA, to eliminate and prevent conditions of slum and blight for funding eligible infrastructure projects such as sidewalk improvements, road repaving, stormwater, have streetlights, water and wastewater collection, treatment system improvements, and then it goes on. And a lot of the CRA is to remove blight in the area, to incentivize business from coming in, encourage the development of lots. So I don't understand how it matches up the building, the Dow Hall Boulevard. I know last year it was talked about in the patio and all this stuff, but all of a sudden you've got like $120,000 going into a building that was purchased, and I don't see it matching any of your key mission statements. And then once again, there's a focus around one area in town instead of the other parts. You're going to, in February 2026, you're supposed to have a 1 million gallons a day wastewater treatment plant up and running. And one of the core things of this CRA mission statement was water and wastewater. And I don't know if y'all are thinking about that. It's great to have flowers and all the other stuff, but if you don't have the infrastructure in place and the stormwater management, I think you're missing out. And nothing against the Dow Hall Boulevard, but that thing was rehabbed, spent $16,000 on it. Has it been rented out yet? And if it does get rented out, is it rented out for $35 for a half day? There's just a lot more involved in it, and that I think you should consider. But I think you gotta, I understand it's a big pot of money and there's a lot of different areas that you could spend it in, but I think you gotta get back to your core areas, and water and wastewater is huge. If you're in the downtown historic district and there's not lines to be able to hook up to people, I think that should be a focus. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to throw something out here along the lines of what she's saying, sewer lines, and you got a new sewer plant coming on, and we already have new tie-in opportunities. On Michigan Street and Ohio Street, behind the Hometown Network on Interlake there's two streets. There's sewer at the end of the street over by Sammy's Pizza, right? Those two streets that go all the way up have a lot of vacant lots on them that have not been built on. I'm about to build, I've got 7 houses, I know this is self-serving, but I got 7 houses I'm going to build up those two streets in the near future. And there's no sewer there, which means septic tank and drain field on all those houses. But I'm building on 7 lots. There's probably, 30, 40 lots on those two streets that are buildable, maybe more than that. So, I wonder if the town, I don't know what the method is for getting sewer lines in, but it's force main system, so it's cheap lines to put in, right? Every house that I would put in, I'd have a sewer lift station. Every new house built there would have to have it. But that's an opportunity to run 2 cheap lines, and have the future of 40 plus houses on it, in the future. Some already, every house I build that I tie to sewer, I pay, $3,200 tie-in fee, plus the lift station. So that's some money, right? So I don't know if we want to explore, like she's saying, what areas in town is it cheapest to put sewer lines in, closest to downtown, that has vacant lots, that will get built on, and should we put those lines in, right? Versus just waiting for the expensive projects going out to Lake Chin Point, down Catfish Creek, around all the lakes. None of that's easy, right? But we do have some easy places to do.
We're already looking at that. It's in the inter-service boundary agreements that we're having the conversations with the county on and where we need to develop at. I would encourage you to speak with Bert Warner, our utilities director. He'll be able to fill you in.
Okay.
That's a
I
good
would,
comment.
I'm sorry, I would like to comment on Pam's comment, because I agree with the Dale Hall. I mean, and Charlotte, I almost wonder if we need to put that as a town council discussion, because we purchased that property well over a year ago, right? For $300,000, and there it sits closed. And so Harry's done some great things to get the inside all ready, and it's probably the inside's ready. You know, it gets to be that trade-off is $20,000 for a patio going to get us what? And I've thought of that when I go by there and I look at that corner and I think, wow, we can't even open the building because we're waiting for a covered roof, a patio.
We're still waiting on some other work to get done inside the building.
Yeah, I mean,
Waiting for what?
and again, it's been over a year, so what will it take to get that building so we can have a grand opening? And again, I have really mixed feelings on, is an investment in a patio worth it for that specific building? I mean,
Well-
and we just made a decision not to rent out here for the party rooms, right, because of the issues with, you know, when people rent it out. So to Ms. Fentress's point, are we going to get $35, $50, and what's the return going to be of renting it out for a patio?
What is it that, I mean, I know you did the handicap bathroom inside, right? Other than it doesn't have any nice outside area, you know, which it should. I don't think it's that expensive to, well, maybe it's 20 grand, you know, to do a covered patio outside. But if we just, you know, dedicate the money and focus the time, it shouldn't be that complicated to get that place opened up. And then I know we had a plan to do some paved parking, and there was conversation about, do we take up a bunch of the grass for paved parking, or we just go down the street and pave that for parking, which right now, you know, it's dirt parking, which works, you know, better than nothing. But I think last year we said that we were going to focus on it this coming year, that we were going to try and get plans drawn and get prepared to spend the money this coming year to do all of the work. I don't know how much preparation's been done for this coming year, which is coming soon, but I think we need to, you know, somehow be going through that process of making decisions. And is that happening now, Charlotte, or is it?
Harry, you can, I mean, he's,
So in the
Yeah, it's all
inside,
being worked
what's
on.
left is the fire suppression system has to be put in. That's $47.75. I have to put a vent hood over the stove, remove the microwave before that can be put in. Handicap ramps because the lip is too high at the doors, and $20,000 for that patio is nowhere near enough.
right.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, I don't think we're talking money that we don't already have, you know, associated with doing this project. So what's the holdup? Do we need to vote to approve something, you know, to spend the $20,000 and do the patio?
No.
What's the holdup with doing
So
this
I'm
stuff?
waiting on a company to supply us with a W-9 to get so we can get a preliminary drawing. Nobody will estimate that patio without a drawing. So the preliminary drawing is $500, and then that's a deposit that will be applied and deducted from the final cost of engineered plans of about $2,000 that comes out of that 20. And you and I spoke about what type of patio you want, and I don't think there's one person that can build that for 20 grand, is what I've been told. They're upwards of 50.
Well, yeah, I budgeted it out at 20 grand, so I can build it for 20 grand. So, I mean, if the plans get drawn per what I drew and you put it out to bid and I
gladly
bid
let
it.
somebody else find them, because I'm
Yeah.
about at the end of trying to find a contractor that will estimate that. I've
Oh.
called multiple.
I think the point was also is time frame. So what is your estimated time frame? I think,
I don't have one. I mean, this company hasn't even made a drawing of it yet.
Well, how long are we waiting for the W-9? Because we could just switch to
It's
somebody
been
else.
within a week. The last week I've been waiting on that.
Well, that's not long, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just make sure he has it, you know, if he's got it, we should
And
be able
it's
to.
taken this long because I finally found a contractor that's willing to give me an estimate on it. Nobody wants to estimate on it.
Estimate the project? Well, I think I gave you a budget for the project a while back, and I mean, I realize it might be a conflict of interest for me to bid something
You
that
can give
the
me a
CRA is
budget,
going
but
to do,
that
but...
doesn't make it another contractor's budget.
No, but if I'm allowed to build it, you know, and the plans come out the way I showed, I'll build it for that price, and then you'll have it done for the 20
I
grand.
thought that was a conflict
Yeah.
of interest.
If it's not a conflict of interest, you know?
I guess I'm just asking what's the return on that 20,000? I mean, put that money in the gazebo over at Devane Park, which gets used daily. I just, and again, I'm just asking, sometimes we learn more as these things kind of drag out, right?
I think we can finish it on the inside, and it doesn't have to.
That's what I'm saying, the inside, yes.
Use that 20,000 to buy tables and chairs to put on the inside.
Oh, well, that's never come up.
I don't think we can buy the tables and chairs out of
Oh, you
CRA.
can't?
No, we can't, and that's slated on our town council budget so that we can't buy that out of here. So that was the other thing too, is we have to keep in mind, we've got to be able to put the tables and chairs in there. Outside of that, we can have it up and ready to go.
I can probably have the rest of the inside done before this budget is done.
Yeah, well, I disagree that the porch is not worth 20,000 and it's not important. I think it's very important because that's an indoor building for having birthday parties, but the birthday parties that people are going to have are indoor, outdoor, because they're going to want to play in the park with the kids and everything else. So I think having your indoor to your outdoor to the park is very important, and so I really think it's worthwhile money to be spent. I mean, the building itself is really nothing to look at. You know, it's I wish it wasn't such a cheap, cheesy building that was built, but we're dealing with what we have, right? And so I really think that, you know, having an outdoor covered area is important to that park. I think that park is important to downtown in general, and, you know, and that's why I think the town council bought the park. But I definitely think we should follow through, and I don't think it's a terrible amount of money to make it more functional and more usable and stuff like that. But, you know, parents are, you know, they're not going to want to have their party be only inside, you know. They're going to want it to be like an indoor-outdoor party, right, when you have kids and stuff. And then I think we had talked about trying to do things like, you know, there's a cheap, cheesy, you know, tall chain link fence around the outside of it. Maybe we could change that to something in the next budget cycle that's, you know, nicer to look at, you know, more of an aluminum, you know, wrought-iron style fence, you know, just around it.
Yeah, and I think if we, thank you for your comments. Is there anybody else that has any comments about capital improvement plan? So our next B is park priorities in the CRA area. So we're kind of already moved into 4A, 4B. So we could go ahead and do that. And my first comment, following along with what we've just been talking about, is that whatever we build is going to be there for a very long time, and I would like to have it look nice. It's important to get it right the first time because we're all going to be looking at it for a very long time. So that's on my comment for B. Anybody else, park priorities?
It wasn't clear what you were just saying, Deborah.
Pardon?
It wasn't clear what you were just saying. Sometimes the,
Okay,
I think your microphone.
so we're at 4B now. Park priorities in CRA area. And I was just saying, we were kind of already talking about parks because we're talking about Dell Hall Park. And I'm just saying that whatever we do with that building, following up on that, I'd like to see the porch look nice because we're going to all look at it for a very long time. It's very visible. And if we're going to do it, I would like to have it look very, very nice instead of just, let's just do it. Just my comment, because these things, you do it and then you look at it forever. So, and I want it to be functional. I think that's important. But I also think it's important in the beginning to spend the money to make it look nice.
Yeah, and you know, on that note, if the price, you know, doesn't come in at 20 but comes in at 30, you know, tell us that it came in at 30, you know, because we might have the money to shuffle around to still do it at 30, right? We just need to get there.
One of the contractors I spoke with said it would be 50 and up.
50 and up.
And
Yeah.
that's
Am I allowed to bid something, you know, that comes out of the town?
that was going to be my next thing. How do you? No, it's okay.
Well, yeah, maybe we just need more prices, you know, because
Do you have somebody you can recommend?
See, this is,
Is he allowed to do that?
I don't know.
that's part of, so these
I
are
do,
challenges that we
probably.
have as a municipality, because what
Yeah.
happens is they know that we have to get quotes.
Mm-hmm.
They know, and then they know that if they give that to us, then if we go out for bid, then they've provided a quote, they can't bid now. The other part of that is that we tie their hands, and we're very limited on who we have. So I made this comment a couple months ago.
One of the issues I'm having is we don't have the drawing, the engineered plans, and nobody wants to bid it without plans.
Yeah, which sounds like you're getting done. So you'll have those plans done within the next month or two, I guess.
I hope.
Yeah, once you get it, send them to me, and then let me see if I can find some contractors that could bid it, right? And give you some help on that, right?
So on this agenda item, right, I mean, there's no recommendation. Is this just information, park priorities? Because I think we're clearly Spruce Park, right? Because it's a pocket park, or Gladiola, whatever we call that one, Spruce, for playground equipment, and then Bicentennial. But until the master, and maybe we go in with something, but I'm going to keep coming back when the master plan, you know, we've got the 3 acres of the Hillcrest, which somebody's recommending turning it all into a dog park. I don't know that that's the best use of that, but so you have that. I think we, and I don't have the answer for delaying some of these things of a final decision of the priorities until we get the workshops, which is going to have the public's input on what type of amenities in which of the locations. And a lot of them are within the CRA district.
In fact, according to the CRA documents, we have to have an annual workshop.
For,
Just for public input.
but for any CRA items, right?
No, it's for, in our CRA documents, we're required to have an annual workshop, and it says to report on the status and progress of programs and projects, to gather input from property owners, citizens, and interested parties regarding development activities, and to discuss strategies relating to local development issues. Topics may include whether a dog park, and this is right from the original documents. Topics may include if a dog park is desired, where it would be located, if a splash park, you know, so we should be doing that.
We are. That's what we're doing right now. That's actually what we're doing right now.
Well, no, my interpretation is that it's where people, we sit at tables, and informal, where people can, like with the workshops that Central Florida does, where you put sticky notes on and you, it's.
I
don't think you have to structure it that way. If we want to do it maybe next year, plan it that way and do it ahead of time. But right now, we're kind of on a time crunch, but you can have a workshop just like this, or you can have it like that, or you can even, bring in somebody to facilitate the workshop, and then we just sit out there with people and do whatever. So, but I don't think we can do it this year, but I think it's a great idea. So, whenever we can do that, maybe we should do that, but we probably need to have a facilitator, whoever's kind of heading that up. Maybe even Harry could do that. But on this issue, I kind of saw this issue as when we get our plan, and we're just trying to appropriate money now, whether we use it or don't. But the parks that I think that I am most interested, that I think would make the most impact on our downtown CRA or our Stewart Park. No, let's see, not Stewart Park. What is the park?
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
Can I take over for just a moment so that I can
Explain.
do the presentation?
Yes.
I do have it here. And I have pictures of all of the parks so that it will make it much easier for
Thank
everybody. And if I may, there is a recommendation here. It's not under recommendation, but the item is here for discussion and review of all parks within the CRA district to ensure that the recommendations align with the CRA goals for enhancing recreational amenities, addressing areas of blight, and improving quality of life for residents and visitors. We are seeking input on the final selection and phasing within the capital improvement plan. While I will agree that we need to have the master plan, we will miss a whole year if we do not make a decision on FERDAP money. And I am very thankful that Councilwoman Hayes and Vice Mayor Worley attended the Florida League of Cities. Just to note on that, it has been 24 years since the town of Lake Placid has had representation at this, which means that is 2 decades where we have been uninvolved in what is going on and how we can actually come up to the 20th century. In those conversations, it has been very difficult conversations, and again, they attended with me, and funding may not be there for a lot of grants. We are living in an uncertain world when it comes to the funding, and so if we're saying we're going to pass on another opportunity, that is something I think that this council really needs to think hard about, because we are not guaranteed any future funding. And as we already know, that we are being audited by DOJ, the whole state of Florida is being looked at. And so there's no guarantee, even for the county who has RPAC money. And remember that we are in District 5, which means that we are not guaranteed a $75,000. We will be competing with others. I understand that Carolyn Morrison had stated something that we would have it, but there is no guarantee that the town will get any money. And especially since we have money that is out there still encumbered that we have not used in over 2 years. And we have also given money back and then got money. If we give money back this time, this will be a second project that we have given money back for RPAC, and then we would have to return money to FERDAP. I know we're not talking about Lake June Park, but I am bringing it to the forefront so that we understand that there are decisions, hard decisions that have to be made. Our suggestion is to go through the parks and look at them, and we would say that because Dow Hall, or the Bicentennial Park, as Mr. LeBlanc has said, is almost ready, we can open the doors. But if we finish that park, now we have a totally open venue that we're no longer using here, but they can have birthday parties, they can have baby showers, they can have whatever it is else that they want to have there, and they have the amenities of the inside with the kitchen, and they also have a beautiful playground outside and a covered area. So now we're more appealing. We may not be using it here in our government center, however, we are offering another meeting space for people to use. So if we could go through, I think being able to see the parks that we have may be able to bring in some awareness of where we'd like to focus on. So the first park is going to be John's Park, and I know it's very difficult sometimes to see, but hopefully you can see it on the screen. And we'll go through everything just so you can see them all. Then we have Stewart Park.
So Charlotte, real quick, your goal here, and I get it, is to narrow down, because FERDAP is now until the end of August, and that could be up to $200,000 grant. I mean, of course, we have to match it, number one. But then, and that would be, and so Lake June Park already has the pickleball, so we can't go after FERDAC there, but any of the others. And you need our guidance on which of the two different parks. Correct. Because you can have 3 open at once with FERDAC, as long as they're in different parks.
Yes, ma'am. And what we would propose is just do one FERDAP, and let's pick another park where you can slate money off of the CRA for that park. And then that's where we are saying that if we go to Spruce Park, because that is a heavily trafficked used area, it also takes away from just in the downtown area. As Ms. Ventress had commented that we're hyper-focusing on one area, this now shares it where we know that there is foot traffic and families that are using that very actively.
Okay, but let me ask this for clarification. Let's stay with Spruce Park and let's just make up something. You know, Alan put in over at Serenity Park, or Taylor Park, and I think he said it was $57,000, so let's just round it up. It's very nice equipment, at $60,000. So if we duplicated that over in Spruce Park, we could go in. Is there a minimum amount for FERDAP? Because we could still go in, and I've seen other, Spring Lake is not getting always the 200, 141,000. So just making it up, we could go in for the picnic table, the bench, you know, the 50, 60,000 of playground equipment, however we want, and then split it to at least apply for FERDAP.
Correct.
For half of it. If they tell us no, we can still go forward with our 60. So that's why I don't, if our thinking's right, I wouldn't narrow it to just 2. I mean, to just 1.
Right.
I'd say go for it,
Okay.
unless the burden of all that paperwork may be not worth it, but.
And that's what I was going to say before, is Spruce Park, I think, is critical for that area. We don't do anything over there, and the children can walk over there and they can play there. And they're probably, a lot of them are going over there already. They just need some place to go. So I would say put money into that park. That'd be my priority. And then down from there.
It looks like the stuff was just painted, is that right, Harry? Yeah. Yeah, I went by there the other day, I'm like, wow, it looks brand new, but I knew it's the
And
same
the other
equipment.
thing I was going to say is, again, and I understand that, and I talked and linked to somebody about the shades, but when you put in equipment, and I think we should do not just playground, because we don't have a lot of children. We need something that can be used by more children, like maybe I was looking through some of those brochures, 2 to 12, if it can be multifunctional instead of like for young children or just older children. So I think if we could, I don't know, maybe 100,000 to fix that park up, make it really nice.
And I'd like to have, just besides swing sets and whatever, like you've seen these exercise routes, and that would be for adults, teenagers, kids, everybody.
Well, I looked through some of those brochures, and there's a lot of equipment that are from like 2 to 12. And after 12, they're probably not going to go there, so.
They actually call it 5 and under as one type of equipment, and then the 5 to 12 is the other. And then the only thing with this park is it's a lot, right? So you're going to be somewhat limited of how much you can put in there. Because this is just I don't know if it's a 100 by 200 foot lot. It's a nice park, and I mean, it's got shade trees on both of the corners, a bench on one side, picnic table on the other, and 3 pieces of equipment.
If I could make a comment, Councilwoman Eberhardt, you touched on something that will actually come before council next month. Jennifer will be presenting from the chamber, and the chamber is willing to purchase, install the pads and the equipment. So they will be here to present for that, for the outdoor workout equipment. Yes, ma'am. So that is forthcoming. They would like to entertain that with council. So that will be coming forward.
Did they, where will that be, or TBD?
No, it's, and now,
I think it's a Devane.
Yeah, that
Devane
makes
Park.
sense. Sure,
Devane
on the
Park.
circuit there, yeah, the circle.
So we have those parks. Now, I do have another, I wanted to be able to, if you see here where we have the dirt, we will need to be able to put a barrier. Alan said that we're going to have to do that. What's happening is we keep putting sand. Let me pop over here and I'll show you. So if you see here, he said that we would need to do mulching. It would be the recommendation, because as you can see in this park, and this is a park that is over in Bowling Green, and we also are able to get their plans, so their piggyback option is there. You can see the area here that they were able to do this park, but he said that it would be his recommendation to put the barrier and use mulch opposed to sand. It's more durable, and I don't know if you want to add anything on that, Harry, but some of the comments that Alan asked us to review, and I will go through some of these so that you can see. This first park here is one that is being done in Polk County, and I spoke with Polk County when we were there. It's common ground. It's Polk County's first inclusive play experience, and it is in process right now. And again, it's not a very big area, but you can see what we have that we could potentially do, and these are just some conceptuals so that you have visuals to be able to look at. Now, of course, they have turf here, and we did talk about turf while we were at Florida League of Cities, and right now, we cannot afford turf. It is something that we aspire to have and we hope to have in the future, but right now, I don't foresee it in our budget. What is really nice about this park is, if I can hone you in a little bit and look around, I know it's hard to see, but they have colored picnic tables that go around the park, and they also have the benches, if you see them off to the right, and I'll go down so you can see a little bit more of the colored benches, and they place it all the way around. Now, this is another, when I saw this space, I immediately thought Ken LeBlanc. It is in Lake Wells. But I wanted to show it just so that we can see how our design standards are very important and how we want our aesthetics to look in our downtown area. But I loved this and had to take a picture just so I could show it to you. And the wood look is actually composite, and they build it in with the brick to give it the look that they have. And then we'll get to the benches a little bit later, but if you would like for me to pull up any specific park, I'll be happy to do that.
Can you pull up Taylor Park, just so people can see that equipment?
Yes, ma'am.
There we are.
It's stuck. I apologize.
So this is the sand that he's saying, even over there, he'd rather replace it with border and mulch?
Yes, ma'am.
Harry, how much was that equipment at Taylor Park? How much was that equipment at Taylor Park? Thank you.
Now, Alan did say to keep in mind that this is the first time that we have used this vendor. He said that it would be his recommendation that we continue to monitor and see what the quality is going to be like. It's a very new vendor, so of course they came in at it's lower price and things of that nature. He just asked us to make that comment on his behalf, that he wanted us to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It didn't include the installation.
So, I like the border and the mulch. Is that something that we would do now to encapsulate some of the existing playgrounds, while we're trying to work towards getting new playgrounds to replace in the future?
We can, if we make the decisions here, though, that was part of what Alan said, and he had a great point, is that we pay a lot of money for the sand. So it would be,
Yeah.
we need to be good stewards of the money, maybe make some decisions on that. We will say that it needs to be mulch from now on. It needs to have the perimeter so that it holds it in.
Becomes the standard
Yes,
for
sir.
all the parks.
Yes,
yeah.
sir, with the
I like
standards.
the idea of it.
I think there's some recycling material available as well that might be even cheaper than mulch.
I wonder if we have money in the budget now for border and mulch, or we can put it into next year's budget so that they could start accomplishing some of that stuff now. I mean, anytime we're going to put new playground equipment, I realize it's complicated. You have to have a drawing, it's got to be an approved drawing and all the kinds of things. It's harder, longer to do that stuff. So if there's some stuff we could do with some of the money we have now to upgrade things without waiting to upgrade till we can get the bigger Mac Daddy stuff, I think we probably should, right?
Well, we have a whole year, so I don't know how quick that sand goes away, but if we could, I don't know if we should go ahead and budget, and then it's there if we need it, instead of putting more sand in.
Is the grass keeps growing in and the sand gets hard, and then he has to go out there and till it up.
So how long, I'm sorry?
How long is it?
How long you think it'd be before we could replace it?
Well,
We
he
don't
just
want to
put-
replace it and when it's still there, but as we need to,
He just
instead of
put that
putting more
sand in.
sand, how long?
He just put that sand in a couple months ago and has already had to do it.
But what I'm saying is how long you think it'll be before you'd have to put more sand in?
I personally don't know. I use mulch and border at the ball fields at Lake June Park, and it's every other year that I have them come out and put mulch in.
Part of it too, Councilwoman Worley, is the rain. He says it'll wash out into the grass, things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm just saying if we should go ahead and fund for it, and then if we need to do it instead of putting sand back again, go ahead, we'll have the money and start doing it so we can get it done.
I would
I would
the
say let's
sand
appropriate for
attracts
it.
ants quicker also.
So somebody threw out 100,000, and I mean, we would go after that with trying to do 50 for FERDAP, 50 for that. And then I guess the question would be, if the FERDAP isn't approved, then we may only be able to do half if we can't find extra money. And that would be for spruce? Okay, I don't have a problem with that. What would you do? And your other one is bicentennial?
Yes, ma'am. We would like to do bicentennial and spruce, and we thought we did this playground last year. We have Lake June Park in the works. Then this would be two playgrounds that we would do this year. That would be we should be able to do some nice things.
And I like the idea of maybe doing a little expanded for the Dal Hall. I mean, a pocket park is nice, because that's for the kids just to get over there. But the Dal Hall is kind of like a showcase to what Ken was saying. It's right there on Dal Hall, you see it, you know, it's walkable for downtown. So do you have a dollar amount you're thinking on that one, of any of the and then the request to FERDAP, is that going to have to be specific equipment that we would be suggesting, or is there a way that we can go out and then allow the master plan workshop and the feedback from people on what they want?
So we need to do this now, because I'll have to schedule with civic groups. I'll have to go and present to the public. We have to have some public input, things of that nature. We just did a conceptual when I've done these before. That's what's going out to the public, and I think that's part we need to put on here, that these are conceptual, because people, even with the pickleball with Lake June Park, they believe that that is a set design, and it's not. It was a conceptual design, so when you submit it to RPAC or FERDAP, you're providing it to them as a concept until you get the actual renderings. So they would accept that, and I have the program to be able to build that in. It's no problem.
Okay, so what you need is a motion to, okay, so do we appropriate like $100,000 to each of these parks, or what, how do you want that? How do you do that to get it through FERDAP? Do we just need to say we want to spend the money on these two parks and do the conceptual? We don't have to say this much on this one and this much on this one?
You don't have to, and then council will have to be the ones to make the vote to authorize us to be able to apply for the FERDAP for this.
So we need a motion to apply to FERDAP for these two parks for $200,000.
But Charlotte, back to 100,000 for Spruce, but are you saying just an equal amount for Dal Hall?
You
Now,
don't
that's
have
where
to-
that's where I was going. So you don't want to say 200. I think you were indicating something more for Dal Hall. So what number are you thinking?
Well, isn't it Bicentennial with Dow Hall, aren't they the same now?
Right, but the other Spruce Park.
So I think what I just asked is, can we just say these two parks, 200,000, not say how much for each park? We don't have to do that. We can just say-
Okay, and I thought we had just talked about 100 for, because if it's 57, 60 plus 17 for labor for what just went over at Serenity, and then you've got the mulch and everything, you're close to 100,000 there. That would be for Spruce. And then for Dal Hall, you want to do something, I think, a little more, because it's, and maybe that, and so I guess my head wasn't 100 and 100. I'm sorry.
I don't understand. I think we can just say, if the maximum grant's 200,000, we can just make a motion that to apply to FERDAP for $200,000 to be spent on two parks, Spruce and Bicentennial Parks. Then later we can decide where the money's going to go and the conceptual plan and everything.
Here's where I'm struggling with that, doing the math. The Pocket Park Spruce, we're saying 100,000. And then if you're saying in 200,000 in total, then you're saying only 100 for Dal Hall.
We don't have to decide that now.
We need to decide the money.
Not according, we can just say we would like to have $200,000 for these two parks.
I think what Councilwoman Charles is also saying is that we have to do two separate applications for the parks. So it would actually be 200 for one park or 100 and 100 for the other park is what she's.
Okay, I misunderstood what
Right,
you
yeah,
said. You said, thought we could just say two.
It's because it's two, we have to do two different applications. They can't be on the same one because it's two different locations.
And what would the money pay for? Just a playground, or a playground in pavilions and fence and paver walkway or whatever? I mean, what?
You put it in, there's specifics that you have to put in.
Okay, so it could be all of those. Okay.
We would put it, yeah.
Did you just say 200 plus 100 for 300,000 altogether?
300,000 altogether. Would
With
you
the
agree?
hope that 150 comes from CRA.
Correct.
Which means they would only give us 150, and then we put 150 in and to get to 300 total? Okay, so they'll only give half of what the total you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
FERDAP has a 50% grant, and RPAC, Yeah, it gets to be,
Would their grant money also be capable of going towards building renovation or any of that kind of stuff, or no, we're just talking like outdoor playground area?
They're very specific. I can send it to you.
Yeah,
But
okay.
he says, when I come out with my clipboard and start checking off everything that you've said in the grant you're going to buy, and if you say 10 picnic tables and you have 5, I'm only reimbursing you for 5. So that's why it's very specific of what the details of the grant have to be in order for us to get reimbursed.
Charlotte, could you make a suggested motion?
yes. Suggested motion for Dow Hall Bicentennial Park for us to apply for FERDAP funds at $200,000, and for Spruce Park, a separate application at $100,000
From FERDAP.
from FERDAP.
Do I hear that motion? I'll make the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I don't
Okay.
think that's what we just said. We didn't say we're going to FERDAP for $300,000. Say it again, say the motion again.
For us to apply for Dow Hall Bicentennial Park. So you're saying we need to make it for 150?
Well, or, yeah, I mean, you can't go to FERDAP for 200 and 100. We've got to put in money for that.
Correct.
So I'm just saying the way the motion was worded.
So you're saying that you wanted to do 50,000 for Spruce and 150 for Bicentennial?
No. I'm saying the way the motion was worded is to apply for FERDAP of 200 for one and 100 the other. You applied half of it for FERDAP.
That's what we're talking about.
But that's not the way the motion was stated. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'll make the
motion
motion.
that we apply what's that? No, I'll make a motion that we apply for a FERDAP grant for Spruce Park, $50,000, and Bicentennial Park, $150,000. Nope, or 200, okay, $100,000 for Bicentennial Park.
Can I restate it? I think we're making a motion to approve $200,000 for Dale Hall Park, with half of that as a FERDAP grant, and $100,000 for Spruce Park, with half of that as a FERDAP grant.
Second. Anything from the audience? Any further discussion for the dais? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Charles?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Worley?
Yes.
Councilmember Hayes?
Yes.
Councilmember Eberhardt?
Yes.
Board Member Hartzell?
Yes.
Board Member Ken LeBlanc?
Yes.
And then, Charlotte, just a process question with, we've just added something to the budget, so that'll be part of the next budget review. And then you'll, because this is a FERDAP grant, you'll then take that to the next, I guess that's the September town meeting. Have you missed your FERDAP date? What's the FERDAP date until? That's just where it's going to be tricky.
It's going to be very close. My understanding is we have until the end of September. It's like September 30th.
Okay.
So it's going to be very tight.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move under old business 4. We're going to go down to C, which is park benches.
This item provides an update on the park bench replacement project included in the CRA capital improvement plan. Based on the site conditions, we had talked about 4 and 6 foot benches. Alan said that if we go outside of the 4-foot benches, we will have to put down new concrete pads. So we want to keep it with the current concrete pads, is what he has requested, eliminating the need for the new foundations and reducing the overall cost. He provided an updated phase cost as follows. If we started with Devane Park at 22 benches, Johns Park with 8 benches, and Stewart Park with 16 benches, And he did bring back a photo. I'll pull that up. It is composite. It's what is called a colonial style.
I thought at the last meeting we said we would not do the composite, that we would have the black.
That we would have, I'm sorry, say that again?
I thought at the last meeting we said we would not have the composite brown, but have aluminum throughout.
I think he just put this as an example of what the style looks like.
Yeah, okay.
Because we liked the
Yeah, we like the style.
and the fresh look that it gives it, like sleek. It gives it a very sleek look.
But just so the pricing reflects what we had said we wanted.
So these are about $1,000 each?
Correct.
$1,100?
They've got to be shipped and things of that nature.
Did we, so we never got an actual sample of any of these benches? No.
Or do we know where these types of benches might be? Like the Sebring Circle, I know they put in new benches, I don't.
They've put in some new benches. If you walk that, though, what I have found is they're refurbishing their benches.
Okay.
They are, I mean, if you really look at them really close, they have replaced some of them. They are longer because we were trying to see if we could find some piggybacks that we could use, but they're not the same as our size that we would need. And this was really just for us to have for the CIP, and so we can start moving things forward.
Do you want to go ahead and vote on these?
So what are we looking to do with these benches now? Are you looking for approval of, you know, the bench and approval of how many to put in which places and stuff? I mean, what are we looking for with this?
Yes, we have a phased approach here, and if you want to do it Devane Park in 1 year, Johns Park in the following year, and Stewart Park in the next, it's totally up to you how you want to do it. After we sat and discussed it, Alan, Harry, and myself, we also spoke with the chief because we've talked about in some of the parks that there may be too many benches. Do we put that many back in? Do we, you know, some of those conversations we
Right.
had, we looked at that. So we would start with Devane. It is the largest. You could slate to put them all in this coming budget cycle. It's your decision.
Do we have money for that from last budget cycle? Or, I mean, just at a time, so it doesn't matter anyways, it's just going to end up in next budget cycle?
It'll be in the next budget.
Yeah, okay.
And it was slated too, if you look on our CIP, we have it on there. It's on
So
the,
$15,000 was budget for last year, and this year we had planned to put 15, we could put whatever we want, I guess, this coming year, right?
right, and so if we move it over, remember, it'll give us that total of the 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
So at the 30,000, it would cover us to start with Devane Park, and that was our thought process, was that we could start with Devane Park this year.
So that's
Or we could do
additional
John and
resources.
Stewart Park, and that would match the 30,000.
I'm sorry,
Knock
say
the
that
two
again.
out, yeah.
If we did it in the order, though, we thought we could potentially do Devane Park and Johns Park, and then put the other in the following year.
So if we
Gee.
budget more than 30 for this coming year, we could do Devane and Johns Park.
Correct.
Yeah.
And are the current benches in decent condition that we could repurpose them to maybe some of the playground parks?
Yes, ma'am, that's what we've talked about. There are some, Alan said that he has a handful that are starting to crack just
Yeah.
from over time, but we still have many of them that can be multi-purpose or repurposed and used somewhere else. Absolutely.
Great.
Lots of places.
Yeah, I noticed there's one out at the cemetery, but it's really in sad shape. So maybe some could go out there?
Yeah, that's a great idea, too.
Yeah, and Serenity Park doesn't have any benches.
Well, getting back to the benches and what we have in the CIP, we have 30,000. If we did both Devane and Johns, we'd need more like 37,000. So do you want to change that line item over on the third page of the CIP from 30 to 37?
Does John need 8? I mean, where,
Well, you know, we didn't use all of Stewart Park paver money, too. So if we haven't allocated that to somewhere else, we could take Stewart Park 5,000, unless I'm wrong, but I think there's 5,000 left from there. We could add that to the 15. Now we're at 20. If you add another 15 next year, then we're at 35. So maybe there's some other money we could allocate from last year, or sorry, this year, to help knock those out.
So the suggestion was to take what's left over from the pavers, the 5,000, and move it down to the park benches, making that 35,000. Is everybody in agreement to do that? And then and we would need to specify.
That 15,000 into 25, 26 to make it 30. That's what we said earlier. You didn't want to make a motion at that point, but that's what you said. You were going to take that 15,000 from the benches because we haven't done anything with it, and then move it into 25, 26, which would make that a total of 30,000 for 25, 26.
Correct, and that's what we decided, but we need more. If we're going to do those two, they're 37,000, so we're going to need at least 35 in that for the benches. So what Mr. LeBlanc said was move 5,000 that we have left over from the pavers and move it down there in addition to last year's 15,000 and make it 35,000.
And maybe you knock 2 at Devane Park benches off and do 20 at Devane Park, 8 at Johns, or maybe 6 at Johns, I don't know. And we can meet the 35,000, so maybe we just pull a few out.
that's kind of where I was. I mean, John's Park is a cute, small park.
Yeah.
8 benches, are they really being used?
All at the
Right
same
down
time.
That's what I was
Right.
saying, is 8 in that small little park, are they being used?
Mm-hmm.
I would, I mean, and Charlotte, you said that there's some of the areas that we don't need that many, so,
Like Stewart Park, we think, I mean, there's so many in there, but then when we got to talking about it, when we have the festivals and things of that nature down there, they get used, but otherwise, they're not used.
well, and
So
you're going to
that's
have
what
the
we're-
exercise equipment, they're going to get used more.
That's going to be in Devane.
John's
Oh, you
Park
said,
is,
yeah, but we're prioritizing right now, though, Devane and John's, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You
John's
said the
Park.
exercise equipment would be going into Devane, didn't you say that?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay.
Around the perimeter.
And don't forget down the road, there are 25 on Interlake.
Right.
I think there are about 5 at the college,
Right.
but 20-some on Interlake.
Now, that might want to be the next one, because of the visibility of Interlake. Maybe the Interlake might want to be the next project, not in one of the parks.
Do we know how many are on Interlake?
Pardon?
How many park benches are on Interlake
Yeah,
in the business
it's,
district?
There are 25, including 7 at the college.
the
Including
ones at
the
the
7.
college don't get used, but they're not the same style that you want to move. You know, if you move that style, it's not the style that we're looking at. So there's way too many benches down at the college. But now that the church did close on all the property basically east of the red brick building. So they're closed and they own it now. So that's going to change that whole,
Yeah.
who knows maybe they'll actually be used now.
I think they said they're not going to be done renovating that until 2027, so I'd be okay leaving all the park benches in front of the college where they are, the way they are right now, and then, we'll deal with that when that renovation work is done.
Yeah,
But I do agree, it would be nice if Interlake is much more visible than, Stewart Park has a lot of benches, but Journey Lighting Festival gets used a lot, right? So I kind of agree, maybe we want to keep a lot in there, but for that reason, but maybe we don't want to focus on that one first. Maybe we want to focus on Johns Park, Interlake, or Stewart.
There's 17 on Interlake, if you don't count the college
Yeah.
or the pond.
That's why I broke out to differentiate the two.
Yeah, so I think we might have the most visual impact, based on what you're saying. Interlake will have the most visual impact by replacing the benches, because people drive by and see it. People don't drive by the park so much, you gotta walk in the park to see those benches for the most part. So I think Interlake is the most visible, and if we add, we just re-landscaped, we add flower pots to Interlake. If we change those benches, I think that's gonna have the most visual impact to the downtown district.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, we don't have any of those listed here, but maybe we should. So maybe if we're going to, maybe we start with Interlake and Johns Park, for instance, and change those two, and then come back to do Devane Park maybe a year later after. It sounds like we might get a whole circuit in there, which would be really cool. And, and then, I don't know. I
Is-
kind of agree with that.
Is your 17 just Interlake excluding the college?
Yes.
So pretty
That's
much,
that's what the list I'm looking at says. It's 17 on East Interlake, there's all the addresses are here. And then number 18 is the fish pond, which is Lake Placid Noon Rotary Park. And then the rest of them are the college, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 at the college. That's what this says.
How many are at Noon Park? The Rotary Park had how many? Sorry,
How many on what?
At Rotary Park.
Just that one?
There's only one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Our thought process was we were trying to look at where the most foot traffic is, and we know that Devane is always busy, always busy. That doesn't mean that Interlake isn't busy, we just don't see a lot of foot traffic there. They are very appealing, but we're trying to see where they're going to get the most use. And that was kind of our thought process. We want to spruce up Interlake, but it was where there's so much traffic, where we're seeing a lot of people that are using the parks and where they're actually going. They're not walking down Interlake and sitting on a bench most of the time, but that doesn't mean we don't need them there, because we are going to replace. Then the other concept we had was we wanted to be able to, we've got to have staff who can help oversee the projects and things that are going on. So poor Harry is wearing like 14 hats. But it would allow us, though, to have activity throughout the town where we're spacing it out. So it really is up to your purview. I just was giving a little bit of background on what our process was when we were thinking about it. I think Interlake is a great idea, but just to give some, if we want to do Devane and Interlake, it's totally up to you.
My thought was the Interlake should be done before maybe Johns Park, just because the impression people get when they come through town, same as you were saying, Ken.
Do we have a cost for Interlake?
Well, if we do the 18, it's roughly the same as Stewart Park, add another 2,000 or so.
Charlotte, and I guess where the parks are, the 17 on Interlake that are currently located, are those strategically where they should be, or should some be moved? Should it be more? Should it be less? And maybe Board Member Hartzell could kind of weigh in on that one.
I was going to say, Interlake sees most of the foot traffic during the winter months when the northerners are here, because they're walking up and down and looking at the murals, and I do notice that more whenever I'm driving Interlake, that especially Johns Park, I do know, I've seen people sitting there more than Stewart Park, because I turn before I get to Stewart, but generally, and that's when they're here, looking at the murals and touring the area. But yeah, we do see a lot more foot traffic, and even the businesses see more foot traffic when people are walking and looking at the murals.
So are the benches on Interlake itself in front of the different businesses utilize that much. I mean, I would leave this up to staff on being up and around the town to say where, you know, do we have enough? Do we not need that many? But I agree with what's being said. It would be nice to have, you know, we got the flowers in, get the nice benches in.
My thoughts would be to keep them in the parks with the shade trees and stuff, because they're not, it's such a short spans. And they're gonna walk, you know, they can walk a block or two and then step into John's Park with the shade and sit down and relax, and the same with Stewart Park. So, because, you know, there's a lot of murals in that short area, so I wouldn't stretch them up and down, you know, out on the sidewalks or in the sun, as opposed to, because you can just walk across the street and you can be in John's Park or Stewart's Park in 5 minutes from the college, from the bank to the college. You can be in those parks in just minutes, so.
I think to move everything along, I think what we're trying to do is the line items, park benches, new and replaced, and we just need to plug in an amount and then come back and visit this during the year when we're ready to do a project, and then address it then, instead of, we're not going to decide where they're going to go tonight. So does everybody want to leave park benches new and replaced? We are doing 15,000 and moving it over to make it a total of 30. Now do you want to leave it at 30, or you want to add 5,000 from the pavers up there? Do you want it to stay at 30,000, or do you want it more? Because this is the important part tonight. How much money are we going to put in the CIP for parks and benches?
Can I ask you this one thing before we talk about maybe moving the extra 5,000 over? Nothing got landscaped on Interlake west of Main Street. That wasn't part of the project. Now, I thought Keep Lake Placid Beautiful had said they were going to landscape that, but they didn't.
No.
Interlake west of Main Street did
Right.
not get re-landscaped.
Right. Remember, I brought that up, and I said, boy, that 4 corners there, now we've got 2 corners, but what about the other? And so right in front of Edward Jones, right there, where the painting of the Robbing the Bank, right, that corner, and then on the other side. So we went up to Main, you know, east of it, and the comment at that time was, we don't know if we have enough irrigation strength. Let's get it in, everything in, let's test the irrigation. I don't remember Lake Placid Beautiful so that they do that. I think that we were going to come back then and,
Well,
because I agree, it's like you've got 2 corners are done.
Yeah, right.
You got, and the,
Yeah. So let's keep the 5,000 here, but somebody needs to be addressing that. You know, we know now what our irrigation is. Everything else is done. Everything looks beautiful, by the way. It all came out awesome. So somehow somebody's got to be looking into that landscaping on the other side.
it's a good point.
Nell, are you part of Keep Lake Placid Beautiful? You are, right?
No, I'm part of the chamber. They sit, one of them sits on the chamber board, but no,
I
I'm not
gotcha.
part of.
Yeah, I don't know how we get somebody to start looking into that, but I think we
I
need to.
can ask Bill, it's Bill
Could you?
Brantley.
That'd be great.
I can ask him
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But Deborah, I thought we were on 4C, and 4C is listing the order of these bench replacements. That's where I thought we were into that discussion is, do we do Devane Park with 22, do we do Johns, or do we do Stewart? That's the agenda item I thought we were discussing here, 4C.
So what's your pleasure? Park benches, new and replaced. You want to leave 30,000, or do you want to put more into that line item?
Well, I would say take the 5,000 from the pavers, add it to the 30, make 35.
Okay.
And then my thought about Interlake, the more I'm thinking about it, when you said that they weren't really used, that they can go to John's Park, what if we just take out the benches on Interlake? That would make Interlake look better.
But I do think people that walk to look at murals probably, use those benches sometimes going up and down the street. So I don't think we should move all benches on Interlake. I definitely think some of those benches get used.
Right, and especially
I've
when the
seen
women go into the boutique shop and the men sit outside
I was just
waiting
gonna
for
say
them.
that. I was
They
just
get
gonna say
used.
Colleen, that's spot on, yes.
I would agree that we had that conversation that maybe we don't use all of them. We don't replace all of them. Let's pick some. I mean, leave it to Alan and Harry. I think they're skilled enough that they will be able to look at it. They'll go talk to Mr. Hartzell. They'll make those decisions. And then there was a suggestion of, instead of the 3 grouping of the flower pots, maybe we just do one big one and kind of give it that aesthetic.
In the landscaping down Interlake.
landscape.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking on Interlake, we're putting 3 pots in landscape areas. I'm thinking there's 1 pot here,
Right,
1 pot
right.
there.
But we already
I
have
agree
the-
with that.
The concrete pad, sorry. The concrete pad's already there, so then it would just be put the flower pot. It's already.
In some cases,
But you were thinking
They're already
about putting it in where there's mulch right now, putting it in.
in the
Yeah, right.
landscape area, where there's already irrigation, it's easy to put it in, just make sure it doesn't block sight triangles. But I think I wouldn't mind walking with somebody, or somebody walk with, Harry or somebody down that street and say, okay, this is a good place for it, that's a good place for it. Chief could be with us and he could say, okay, that's not a sight triangle problem or something, but I think we can go down that street, we could probably count 6 or 8 easy, maybe 8 of them that go in single pots, in areas, landscaping's already there, irrigation's already there.
Okay, and that's on a different page. So we have, right now, we're back to park benches, new and replaced. How much money do you want to put in there? You want to leave the 30,000? Do you want to add more money to it? We can go back over to downtown flower pots and add some money in over there.
When it comes to downtown, if it were me, I would probably do Interlake and maybe Johns. Because Interlake's $20,000, we have 30. Johns Park's 10. I would probably do Interlake and Johns Park this year, and then next year, do budget out Stewart Park, Devane Park, something like that. Let's get our system in place around Devane Park, that running jogging system, which sounds like a great idea. And then maybe, because we might want benches in new places in Stewart Park, Devane Park, once that system goes in, right?
Okay, so we just need to figure that,
But
plug in
that's
here,
my
because
thought.
we can decide where they go later, but right now we
True.
need to plug in a figure. So right now, we're at 30,000.
30,000.
Do you want to up that?
But we were going to move, weren't we moving the 5,000?
Well, we talked about moving the leftover from the pavers up there, 5,000 down, but we're going to be doing this. We could add money from the monies that are coming in. We can say,
Yeah, just.
we don't have to just take it from here and move it around. We're not, that's during budget. We're creating a new plan here. So if you want to make that more money and not take it from anywhere, we can do that. We can just say whatever amount you want to put in there. So you want to put 30, you want to put 40?
This is what I think. I don't think there's enough money in flower pots to probably, at $6,000 to do the flower pots. So why don't we take the 5,000 from the pavers, put it up to the flower pots, which makes flower pots $11,600.
Well, what I'm saying
And
is that
then-
before we had to move money around because we had a limited budget and it was a budget amendment. Now we have new money coming in. What was it, 112,000? How much more money? So we have that money we can spend on this
Yeah,
without
right.
moving anything anywhere. So just how much money you want to put into the new benches?
So there's 17 on Interlake today, there's 8 in Johns Park, that's 25, right? Am I doing that right? And they're 1,000 apiece, so 30,000, right? Am I doing it wrong?
I think Nell said they were 1,200 each.
1,200 apiece, but that's okay.
1,200 each.
Okay. But where I was going is, the 30,000 sounds like it's adequate for those 2 areas to give them budget on that, and then she'll go and just make sure you check in with business owners. I would hate that somebody has a bench and we decide it needs to go 4 doors down, right? So we need to and then all of a sudden we pull some out, but it's in a new
Yeah, you
location.
put a nice
So
new bench in front of
please-
somebody else's and pull theirs
Yeah,
out.
so do you think the 30,000 would be sufficient today? There's 17 on Interlake and 8 in Johns Park, 25, and you're thinking you could par down a few?
I was going to make a recommendation that if we just put 40 there, it gives us more than probably we need, but will allow us to be able to have a little wiggle room
Okay.
if necessary.
Okay, so we're going to change park benches, new and replacement, to $40,000.
Yeah. Are we allocating next year's money yet or not yet?
That's what we're doing. We're spending that's why we don't have to
So we
move
got
things around.
300,000 more to spend. So we're just pulling stuff from last year, but we're not even really looking into spending this year is
No,
what we should be.
That's what we should be doing right now. That's what I'm
I
saying.
gotcha.
So
Yeah,
back
right.
over here, going back over.
Okay, okay.
So we're going to, is
Yeah.
everybody okay with 40 for the benches?
I'm okay with 40 for the benches.
Everybody okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back over to page 6, which is downtown flower pots, because we were talking about that. So we've got 5,000, it's hard to follow this. Anyway, 5,000 appropriated for downtown flower pots. So do we want to put more money in there? Do we want to up that to 10 or 15 to do some other flower pots?
Where are you at, ma'am?
It's on page 6 of 26, down at the bottom.
And what are you looking at down?
Downtown flower pots.
Oh, I
It's
got
in
you.
yellow because we did some.
I got you.
Okay, but this started off at 92, and this is chipping away, it's getting lower. Now flip to the page 7,
Yeah, we have 6,600 remaining in that
we have
project right now.
6,600 remaining. So we want to take the 6,600 up to what? I mean, I think if we bring it up to like 15,000 total, that's probably enough to do whatever pots we would do at this point going forward, right?
And-
On Interlake, I think. 'Cause-
If you think 15, we can put in here whatever you want
Well-
to. We have to spend.
Actually, what does Charlotte think? Because I wasn't part of buying all this stuff and doing it. How much, Charlotte, do you think we need to do flower pots on Interlake based on what we spent last year on what we did?
No, we're on page 7, right above.
Yeah,
And this is, I'm thinking we're not cutting concrete sidewalks to tie
no,
into
we're not. I mean,
irrigation.
I
We're
think
just
if you do the
doing the easy stuff.
15,000, I think it's plenty reasonable.
How much did you say?
I think at the 15,000 you
15?
said, I think
Okay.
we're good.
So,
Six large, 6 medium, and 6 small, with assorted plants, potting, and delivery fees was 17,265.25.
yeah. So we'll, I mean, if you guys agree, we'll put 15,000 into pots for this future.
And it's just a line item because later you
Yeah.
can decide wherever you want to put them.
Yeah. And then the question about the landscaping on Interlake and Main that we still have to do, is there a line item here where we could put money to fund doing that? And, I mean, I know we got to check on the irrigation. Well, actually, do we have irrigation to do that?
You're talking about further on down by.
Yeah, down west.
It all works.
It all works, great. So, so how much money should we be budgeting to do pretty much what we did down Interlake? What can we budget to do that? And I think we paid $40,000, to TWQ, if I remember correctly. So maybe we probably don't even need 10,000 if that's the case. So maybe if we budget 10,000, that'll give adequate money to figure that out. And maybe you can even put some pots down there too.
And but you wanted me to check with Keep Lake Placid Beautiful for that area too, right?
Sure.
I mean, yeah, you
Yeah,
do
I
or you
mean,
don't.
I'm not sure, maybe I misunderstood that they were going to handle that, but maybe they were going to handle it with CRA's money. I
I'll
don't
see
know.
him on Wednesday if he comes to the meeting. We've got a board meeting
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
Today's
think
Monday,
they were
so-
planning on,
yeah.
because they originally were going to do the whole thing, and we're like, no,
Well, yeah.
we're going to do it, and then that's when I brought up, wait a minute,
Yeah.
the west
Well,
of Maine,
yeah,
both sides of the street, you're stopped at the,
What I think
to make
we-
a right, and you see these,
yeah. What I think might be more valuable is Keep Lake Placid Beautiful uses its money to budget maintaining this landscaping, because CRA can't do that. So maybe if we allocate some money to finish that landscaping and let them allocate their resources to maintain, then it's the best for everybody.
have they agreed to that?
Yeah.
I didn't know they're going to,
I don't think they really agreed to anything.
I don't think they've agreed to keeping the maintenance,
uh,
that's something we're going to have to put
down
into our
anything,
budget.
honestly.
But I'm fine, because those two corners are.
Somebody's got to maintain it, it's
Yeah.
not the CRA, right? Yeah. So however you guys want to handle it.
So, okay, so we talked about, is there been an agreement to add $10,000, a line item, $10,000 for landscaping along Interlake,
Yeah, west of Maine.
West Interlake? I
Yes,
think we would just
yeah.
say Interlake, I mean,
Right,
but if
west
you want to,
Yeah,
West
you're right,
Interlake.
you're right, that's fine. We know it is, yeah.
Okay, well then, something else I thought of, and Mr. LeBlanc has been, how much is the maintenance that you're absorbing now that we're going to have to plan for?
I'm paying.
And maybe we can't pay for that, we can't pay
can't-
for
no,
that out
that's
of here.
No, you can't do it anyway. The
Sorry.
town has to do it.
The
It
town
costs
has to
me,
do it.
it's about $1,200
Okay, forget I
from
said that.
Interlake North.
I regressed. Okay, so where are we at with all this? Okay, so I want to remind you too that and I'm never sure, and probably Ms. Eberhardt could enlighten us, but there's a rule that you're supposed to use the money you collect within 5 years. So we need to, I mean, it's not like we have to be frivolous, but we do need to keep our eye on that and make sure that we're spending the money. We need to spend the money we collect within 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay.
we have money,
Yeah.
and I think we're about to hit paving now.
Okay.
So that's going to eat up.
Yeah, one last thing before we talk about paving is, you know, Charlotte, when we did the circles south of Interlake on Main, we did bigger circles, because the pots we bought were bigger than we originally thought we were going to buy. So on the north side of Interlake on Main, do we want to add a big, you know, make those circles like a pave or bigger so that they match what we did on south side? Do we have a budget for that? Can we budget money in here to increase the size of those circles? Is $5,000 that was left over in pavers enough, for instance?
Why do we need to increase them?
Because we chose to do pavers, I think 5 foot wide, not having chosen the pots first. And when we chose the pots, they fill up almost the entire paver, like within inches. When we did them on south side, because we now had the pavers, we knew how big the pots were, we decided to make them a foot bigger, so it wasn't crowding it, so the lawnmower wouldn't accidentally hit a pot, for instance. So now that we've made the one south bigger, do we want to go to the north one, six circles, and just make them bigger to match the south ones, you see?
I don't know that people look at the size of the circle, you know, north to south.
Well,
I mean, I hear what
Harry
you're saying,
cares,
but,
yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to be, or do you take, I just hate to keep stretching it out, because that's more money. Those
I'm
weren't
just
cheap to do
concerned
that. Or
about-
do you just take the
yeah.
big pot and move it over to Interlake, and rather than buy all new pots on Interlake, because we're going to only do one, it's just,
We had talked about this before when we were doing the South Main, and we said to make the circles bigger. Ms. Eberhardt had a great idea to put the border. I love that. So we said we would look at that bigger space, and if it looked good, that we would do the same thing on North Main. And I think it looks a lot better. I mean, I think it's worth spending the money. It just looks so much nicer to me.
No, I agree. I think it looks nicer, and again, I'm worried the lawnmower might accidentally hit a pot on the other ones because they're so close to the edge of the pavers and then crack a pot, you know? And so I think it's worth it to probably add the circles to those 6 to make them match the one on south end, so they all match. They do look better, and then less likely to break a pot with the lawnmower, right?
how did they end up smaller?
Because we didn't buy the pots. We chose the size of the circles before we actually bought the pots, and the pots were bigger than what we anticipated the pots being. So when you put 3 pots together on a 5-foot circle, it goes almost to the edge of the circle. And so they knew that now. So when they did South Main, they decided, let's just make the circle bigger so that there's more room around the pots.
Gotcha. So South Main is a bigger circle.
Bigger circle, which
Then
looks
north.
nicer.
Yeah,
So we're talking about
gotcha.
just adding it to the other ones, which isn't going to be terribly expensive. Has he already priced that out, TWQ?
How much money you think that we're going to need, I guess?
I'm thinking less than 5,000, so just leave the 5,000 maybe there, which we didn't move.
Okay,
And-
so leave the
And that
5,000.
should take care of that.
Let's move that $5,005
Forward.
over into the next.
And then
year.
Charlotte can go ahead and just get that done, yeah.
Is everybody in agreement for that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Any other changes, additions? You'd like to add something? or-
I wonder how, okay, you said we're going to go to paving, that's going to use a lot of that extra 300,000.
Well, road paving, not
Yeah,
pavers.
right.
but-
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Can we just reword one of these where it says Hillcrest? So I like allocating money for Hillcrest, but let's just call it Hillcrest Park. I don't know that through the master plan, that'll end up being a dog park, and this is some pretty sizable money. So I'm just wondering, is Hillcrest, it's like park, you know, rather than dog park planning, it's, you know, we've got that 3 acres, we need to do something with it, or we need to sell it, right? So I think the master plan will come up with some ideas that we'll be able to use. So how do we allocate some money now? And I think there's 4 things there, right? Fencing, irrigation, landscaping, and can we just, rather than make a decision it's going to be a dog park, change that word dog park to something else? Future planning or TBD master plan?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I didn't want to put down
Page
dog
7 of
park.
26.
Because somebody reads it and they think it's a foregone deal that it's going to be a dog park. So I'd like to somehow
Yeah.
take out dog park. I mean, not that we're not going to do it, but just don't say it.
I would just say park planning, right?
Park, yeah, unknown, whatever.
Yeah.
Why don't we just do Hillcrest Park improvement and then do a figure?
And
You
would
mean
you
add
lump
them
them
all
all
together?
together then, Deborah? Because there's 4 items there. We've got the fencing, the irrigation, the landscaping, and the dog park line.
Is that the thinking, though, that that would be a dog park?
No, I don't know where that came from.
Oh, I got you.
I think
got
it
you.
came from your door-to-doors.
Yeah, a dog park, but not in this location. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're saying take
The
out
door-to-door,
dog
people wanted splash pad, playground.
Because another place that was thought about for a dog park was next to the old town hall.
Yeah, that triangle there.
So,
So we're not going to, I mean,
I mean,
I
I
would
like
leave it to
this.
the master plan experts to then solicit people, get the feedback, and they go back and figure out which of the 12 parks that would be.
Yeah. I don't think this would be a bad place for a dog park, but it's also, a dog park can be a good placeholder, you know, to use a piece of land for a while until you can afford to do a splash pad or something different, too.
Yeah,
But I don't really want to get
Yeah,
into
I
that
just don't want,
now.
we're
Yeah.
making a decision where it would be versus
Yeah,
let
yeah.
the experts
So make
after
it
the
general.
feedback.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
just saying,
I
just
get that, yeah. I
Hillcrest
agree.
Park planning,
Yeah.
and just get
I
rid of
agree
the,
with that.
And leave it all, Councilwoman Charles, we would just say park planning, but I heard you say that instead of having it with the 4, we're just going to say park planning, and we'll include it to, say, park fence, irrigation, landscaping, just like clump it all together on one line? Is that what?
I'm asking, is that what you'd rather do? But it probably needs more than $10,000, right?
Oh, yeah, it would
Well,
definitely.
the current planning of the dollars puts that into 26, 27, but that doesn't mean we can't use our new money to go in there.
Yeah.
We could move we could move all those from the year after back over
Bring them
to
in.
next year.
Bring 'em in.
If you want
Yeah,
to bring them back,
agree.
since we have the
Yeah.
money, we can just use,
So
just
then
go
it
ahead
makes
and
it
move
100.
the 50, the 20, and the 20 back over to next
total
year.
100, yeah.
Now, I had that's a great idea. Do you want to put some money in there for that little piece of land? The only thing that, with that piece of land by the old town hall, is that, would they use that for parking when we have festivals? So I don't, and,
Oh, that little triangle there? Yeah. I mean,
I mean, that's kind of what we're using it for right now, overflow parking.
We did talk about it, Harry, Allen, and I, and also with the chief. It would not take very much for us to do something in a dog park. No
Right.
matter where it goes right now, it's very easy that even
Yeah.
if we decided later and said, hey, we don't really want this for a permanent dog park, those things are easy just to up and move. They're really, I mean, it's a bench with a tree, a little fenced-in area. We get the thing for them to dispose of it, a trash can, things of that nature, and it's easy.
and then you
That is
slap
something
up,
that you could actually add as an amenity or an offering that we could do right now.
right?
If we
And
put
then
it
you
into
put up
place.
your CRA development sign,
Yes.
right?
Right. Sponsored by
Yeah.
CRA. But yes, that is one that is a very low-hanging fruit. that we could
I've
do.
always thought, because there's trees on both sides, you put one of these recycled benches over there, and if there's any type of water, you have a drinking fountain with a dog bowl, and
Are you
that's it.
talking Hillcrest still, or something?
No. Joy brought up over next to First Insurance. I call it that triangle that goes down Green
Oh.
Dragon Drive.
When we sold
Yeah,
the old
it's not
town
very
hall,
big
there's
for a
that
dog
piece
park,
of
though.
land.
Yeah.
Oh, it actually
I know what you're
is.
talking
It's got a good run.
But a lot of that, isn't that part of that drainage? It's like a retention pond.
There is a retention pond there,
Yeah.
but I don't.
You just
think
went
that's-
and, the dogs
It'd be
love
good for
water.
small dogs, yeah.
Yeah, so we're not going to solve that here, but
Yeah.
I do like, is there some other of the parks that we know, maybe
Yeah.
we just put some money in there?
And do we put the money into Hillcrest with, 619 Hillcrest, or do we put it into a general category that gives us flexibility to use money here, over at the triangle maybe, or over here,
so
Does it have to be that specific?
could we, just put a new line item, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
And unidentified park for
Park
Docks.
development.
Park
or
improvements.
On
Park
a
improvements.
Various
yeah,
park
An identified location.
improvements.
Yeah.
So we're
This
gonna
is
Gives you
Charlotte.
flexibility, yeah.
take those four and combine all the money and put in there
That-
Hillcrest improvements.
Charlotte, is that, I mean, if that's something you can do on the
Or-
CIP?
But
Let
do we
me-
say Hillcrest, or do we just say park,
No.
general
Well,
park?
Hillcrest Park
Various.
improvements.
Unknown.
You
We
what?
I wouldn't want to specify a location for a dog park until we get input. But if we put a line item there and money for a dog park in unknown location.
Okay, how much money should we put in there? So let's make a new line item, dog park.
I honestly think that you could put a $10,000
I think
placeholder
so,
there, and it's
too,
going to be way
easily.
less. You'll see, I mean, if we get to that, I mean,
But the
Councilman
only
Charles,
thing
we've
is-
looked at this before. I think that
Would be parking. So for instance, say we, at Hillcrest, we wanted to do a dog park, we don't actually have parking there. So would you have to create a parking lot? Over at the triangle we're talking about, you don't actually have parking there. So how do you associate with that? So can we do a dog park in a place that doesn't already have parking? And if we do, then do we have to put paved parking? And that creates a
I
little
don't,
more
I don't,
expensive.
what I'm seeing is more and more, they're not paving because the retention and all the costs. If you go up to Max Long Park, which is a very extensively used sports park, they park on the grass, and it's prettier. You don't have to put in retention, it's cost-effective. You have to put in the bumpers. You just have to put in the bumpers to show how to park. But that's it. You just have
Yeah.
grass.
So like if we were to do Hillcrest as a dog park, for instance, we'd do probably a concrete apron up to the sidewalk, and on the other side of the sidewalk, maybe, I don't know if you have just one paved strip, and then you park on grass or
I
something.
think we're jumping ahead on where the dog park's going to go.
Well, it has to do with how much money we need to put for a dog park.
But-
We have to deal with parking.
Or we wait till the following year if the master plan says Hillcrest is the one, because then it has paving. If you do what Councilmember Eberhardt said, even if it's a start, I call it that triangle, right? Then you have parking at the basketball courts, you've got parking there all over, so.
Yeah, and maybe actually here, you could do on-street parking down the whole thing and just do, parking right off the street, and then you have, that might work.
Or public.
So so do new line item, dog park, 10,000. Okay. Anybody else want to add any other line items? New,
I wanted to ask, this was thrown my way the other day, and I'll ask for your feedback. Somebody had questioned why there's never a bathroom in Devane Park. And all of the walkers all the time, I mean, they said that park is used a lot with walkers. And sure, when the library's open, you have a park, that you have the restroom there. You've got the basketball courts. Now, whether you put it in Devane Park or you put it next to the library by the basketball court, but I just didn't know, has that ever come up? Somebody said to me is, have you ever thought of, and they felt it was a good idea, to put a bathroom in Devane Park or for Devane Park use?
before it was talked about, but the aesthetics, they didn't want to see the bathroom. Then we talked to the Clown College about maybe putting it over on their property so they would have a outside bathroom. They used to have events, so they're not doing that anymore. They used to have things over there. But so we talked about maybe putting the bathroom there and having it serve both places, but then you have to get into who owns the property and blah, 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 blah. So, but anyway, the conversation before is it looks so pretty. You put a building out there and it just destroyed, that was a conversation a bazillion years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, the person said then you put it over by the basketball court next to the library. That was, to that same thing, rather than put a building right in the middle of Devane Park, you put a bathroom right next to the I'm just bringing it up. I mean,
No, I think
this is what people,
I'm for
mean,
it. But
now
where do
you
we
walk,
put-
I mean, you walk the, you walk the park and others walk, and
we
they were
don't-
saying, you don't realize how much that park is used all day long, from before the sun rises to sunset.
Before, we donated the land, we give away so much. We donated the land for the library for the expansion, and part of that was And I don't know if we gave them that parking. We said, yes, we'll let you have that. We'll be joint parking for the park. I don't know if they're in ownership of that area, but that actually was an agreement with the county, and the parking was supposed to be joint for the basketball courts. We said, don't touch the basketball courts. We're giving you land. They paved that parking. So we'd have to look into if we take away parking spaces over there.
No, so there's separate parking for the library, and there's a big parking lot for the basketball courts.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we own. That's what we own.
But we made an agreement with the county when they expanded the library, that was the parking for the library. I don't know, we'd have to go
Well,
back and look.
I'm just saying, I know that's town property, the basketball courts and that parking. So I just wanted to bring it up. If somebody had brought it up, it could come up at the budget meeting for others. I don't know, Charlotte, to you and your staff, if that's ever come up.
So we don't solve it tonight,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
again, just add a line item, unidentified location to investigate facilities in the vicinity of Devane Park.
Councilwoman Charles, I know you said you had looked over in Bowling Green when they had the parks over there. I don't know if you remember, there was like a small building freestanding by itself. That's exactly what it was. That's what we did. It's one restroom for male, female on the end. It's very small. So it is something that we can do. We just need to identify. I agree with Councilwoman Eberhardt. Put a line item on here with a dollar amount and put it on our CIP, so at least it's there and we adopt it this year, and then we can figure out where and things of that nature after we get the master plan and say, let's add a restroom somewhere, where would that be?
We can repeat the one we did in Stewart Park,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
right over there, and I
You could.
think Billy Brantley did it for like 55 grand or something back when he did
That's
it.
about right.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I was-
okay, with
Probably.
that though, we already had sewer there, and they didn't have to go do permitting. If you do in the same footprint, that we took down a building, we put one back, SWIFMA didn't have all those requirements, we didn't have to permit, we didn't have to do retention. You know, we had sewer right there.
But city sewer is actually
It was just the building.
nearby.
So you'd have to do the
Yeah.
building, and then you'd have to do the preparation as well, and put
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah,
septic
it's more
or
expensive.
hook it to
So you're
sewer.
probably- yeah.
That'd be something else to look at.
Yeah.
Do we,
The
over at
sewer's
Serenity,
nearby.
there's sewer.
You should be able to bore a low-pressure line to the city's line, coming down Dragon Avenue, if you go in that area, down by the triangle area, you know, if you keep it down there, I think they could tie into city sewer. But you're probably talking $100,000 between,
That's what I was thinking.
building this and having to bore and get your sewer tied into city sewer and put a
That-
lift station.
And that would be, that would be a better place for it. I know when they have festivals and everything, and they bring in the porta potties there at that end, over by the Green Dragon end, so.
Yeah,
If we
I think
built
that would
over
work.
on that end, it would be least obtrusive. It wouldn't be near the ballpark, but, not
Yeah.
the basketball, but that way it would be least obtrusive to,
Yeah.
you know, to the park and everything.
Not
Well,
a bad idea.
yeah, they have lines, sewer lines to the schools. So the sewer
Yeah.
line runs down probably
And
Green
it would be
Dragon.
good for the park, for the festivals that we have in the park as well.
A real bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it on, and as we come over or under budget, then we'll be able to
We'll have it on.
make a priority list, right, a
Say-
decision.
Right, because we can always shift things during the year
Yes.
from category to category.
Well, once we put everything together and we have the budget workshop,
Yeah.
by then we'll have the money, and Charlotte comes back and say, nope, you're this much over, or we've got this much more to spend. I know the other thing, and I don't know how you earmark it, and again, everything's a master plan, right? But a lot of interest in some type of a splash pad. Now, it can be everything from just little fountains, right? So, I mean,
I should have put that on here.
I think another interest that the public has is some type of a splash pad somewhere. Now, that could be Dell Hall, right? That could be, part of that building. I don't know where, but
I know that public will not like me when I say this, but a splash pad we are not ready for. And what I mean by that is, it's great, what a splash pad is once we've done everything, it is a nice finishing touch. Because the requirements for staff to maintain that and things of that nature that will go into a splash pad, and it is a nightmare in Florida because you will have snakes, rattlesnakes, and things of that nature, which now means Harry and them will need to go out to observe it and make sure. I've been a Parks and Rec director before and have experienced this, so I'm speaking from experience. They like the water. They, around the little they're very tiny, and believe me, they're very expensive. They will curl up underneath there. And so there are concerns, safety concerns that we have to be aware of, especially because we're in Florida. They also break a lot. They
Yeah,
break
that's
a lot.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then there are
yeah.
also testing requirements because you have to also be careful with the water. So there's a lot that is involved in that, and I'm just saying right now, we could put it on a CIP, but if we do that within a year or 2 years, we're not going to be staff equipped or capable of doing that. And if we prioritize, we have roads and things of that nature that we really need to look at before, and a splash pad you're not going to get for less than $200,000.
You know,
It's not
there's
gonna happen.
splash parks and there's splash pads, and
Right.
I'm about to probably get involved in one in Sebring, and so I'm gonna do a lot of research, you know, in the near
I can show
future
you the
on
one we
splash.
built.
And the one that I might do is just probably gonna be just water shooting, you
That's
know.
exactly.
And if I have it my way, it'll just be, you push a button, and for 10 minutes, fresh water comes out, goes into a drain that goes into the ground, and actually doesn't get recycled. So it's actually fresh water each time,
That's
if
what
I can get
mine
away
was,
with
though,
it.
Ken. That's how mine was. I'll be happy to sit with you and show you. I'm
Oh, yeah,
telling you,
love to
there
see
is a lot of work involved, and I have to be
Yeah.
the voice for the staff.
Yeah.
Because you have to be,
So
we
you-
have to be
you did
realistic.
one
Yes,
in
I will be happy to show you.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. That would be
It's
helpful.
called Bone Valley, and it's over at Hardy Lakes in Hardy County.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I'd love to see
the thing when we wanted, in fact, I was surprised, Ray Royce wanted to do this a long time ago, but the recycling of the water and all of that is very complex, and it does break a lot. So maybe, why don't we wait, that's a great idea about the bathrooms, but maybe we should just wait one more year for a water project, if that's
Yeah.
okay. And then we really need to talk about paving, because we've taken money out of the town's budget for roads. We've taken tax dollars to put in the CRA. That would have gone to the general fund to pay for roads. So we do need to look at roads within this. So if you all are done with that, I mean,
So on this one, 4D, are these all asphalting roads in the town?
I'm going to show you pictures of them.
Yeah.
And just a note, Alan was very frustrated because this tied his hands with being able to do anything, because as Councilwoman Worley stated, that when we pull it out of the general fund and now it's on our CRA, CIP, that means if we don't leave it here, he can't do anything for 3 years, because it has to be off of our CRA budget for 3 years. So our actual CRA plan, as Pam Ventra stated earlier, addresses this, and it was built for that. So he's not been able to do anything with streets for a year. And these are the streets that he identified that we should look at first. Now, obviously, some that we have stormwater issues and things of that nature is going to be a lot more complex, and we're working with the county to be able to address those. But in order of priority, he said North Magnolia, and I have photos of those so that you can see what it looks like. Thank you again, Harry, for taking the photos.
So it's about 200 and some thousand? And this was in last year and we've pulled it out?
Yes, ma'am, we took it off because there was a believed understanding or perception that it should come off of our regular budget. And as Councilwoman Worley stated, it was already on our CRA budget and we pulled it off.
So Plaza Avenue is over, isn't it east of 27? Am I thinking the right, over by the plaza, behind there?
Yeah.
That's not CRA district, is it? Just check that out.
Oh, no, we have a very large CRA district, very large.
I didn't think we went over across 27. Okay, just make
I
sure.
will,
The tower.
yeah, the tower.
This is behind the tower. This is
Yes.
east of-
Yeah, this is, that's what I'm saying, this is east of 27.
Are these two the same picture, basically looking in different directions?
Yes,
No,
so,
that's Magnolia.
so look,
That's Waldo Ayla.
the end of the street is closed. It belongs to the church. So
Yeah, that's Magnolia.
then we have Waldo.
Which is Magnolia?
The one she just flipped over.
Okay.
This
Where's
is-
Magnolia in town?
It's
Do you want me to go back up?
in front of Deborah's office by that little restaurant.
And then here's the bank.
Does it go north and south?
This is Waldo.
This is what?
This is the one behind the Dollar General store.
This is Waldo
Yeah.
Hayloft, yeah.
And that's the ball fields over there.
So Waldorf is like behind the Dollar General where the Mid-Florida is. It's the cut across the people. That road is used all the time,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, with the construction,
Oh.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
even before, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
This road is used, I mean, I use it on probably at least
You
once
do?
a day, at least. Rather than go out on 27, I can cut through there and shop. And it's very well used. And we
That's
put
no
the
cost.
sidewalk in because a lot of people from town walk over there to that complex.
What is that, is that Hillcrest also?
Yes.
Okay. It's coming up to Del Hall, yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Do we have enough money left to allocate towards all of these roads? Anybody keeping track of how much of the 300 and something thousand we're allocating?
That's part.
Well, we only added, really, basically, we moved most of the money over. We added 100,000 for bathrooms, landscaping for the Interlake, 10, a dog park, 10, we added. The rest of it, we just moved around.
Joy, did you have the district? Did you have the map of the district?
The one I have is, you can't read it.
Yeah.
I have one in my car, you want me to go get it?
I have one in my house.
You want me to go get it out of the car?
I don't. I didn't pull it up, the CRA district, but I could pull it up.
Yeah, we can bring it up from the top.
I have to be excused.
What's that, Ken?
What's the road she shows now?
Plaza.
That's
That's
Plaza.
behind the tower.
So when we budget this money, are we opening a door for the money to be spent, or no, this is, it'll be discussed later and individual roads will get approved later?
We need to, we're putting it on here now, but we have to do something with roads.
No, his question is, can we just lump all this together? Can we say,
Oh, yes, yes.
okay,
I'm sorry.
and then
Put the dollar
decide,
amount.
right, and then decide,
Yes, yes. Correct. Yes, you can.
So let's do that. Let's put the 200,000 road repaving, and I guess, Charlotte, you need to be prepared for if we compare it to 150 or something like that. But definitely, every year, we need to address the road.
And the goal is if we can get, I know we say plans, but if we can get a street pavement plan, it will address
Yep.
the stormwater issues that we're having. It should help us to allocate properly. So we are looking for possibly, I know, it's like, it's so unprecedented times right now that we really don't know, but there are grants that we could apply for. And we are going to have some conversations with the county. They've already kind of started because they're looking at an overall whole county plan that if we could contribute, do an interlocal, something of that nature, we may be able to do something there. I'm trying to blow it up, but it just
Yeah, I
doesn't
think-
come out really
Oh,
clear.
there's a
No,
district.
that's the one I have in the
There we
car.
go.
Yeah, that's the one I have in the car.
so the Plaza Avenue's behind the tower. It goes from Triangle down to the lake. And then Magnolia's across the street from my office. It goes from where the Twice Better is now to down by the ball field.
So part of Plaza Street is in the district, but some of it might be out.
That was kind of where I was going.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
And then Waldo's behind Dollar General.
okay, now is that,
And Hillcrest is by the post office.
yeah, so, but a question on that, is Waldorf in this district? Like, what's right here? Is that Interlake? That's Interlake.
Well, they didn't put, Ray did this. Yeah, Ray didn't want that. In fact, where they put the Wawa in and that is not.
So is this Waldorf here, or is it here?
It's here, it's in the back. So this is 27, okay? And then these stores are not in it. So,
But Plaza Avenue is, right?
We don't know where the road is, though. That's the question, right?
that's Wawa.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So it's right here.
You can see it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Plaza Avenue. The lettering is on the.
Yeah, this is Interlake here. And then, where Mid-Florida is not in the CRA, but to the north of it is, and then to the
Well, Charlotte, just
Hillcrest is
have,
here.
have Alan double check on the 4 projects to make
is the
sure they're
post
within.
office.
Tell him we're starting off 200. He's
Okay,
getting what he
so-
wanted.
So we're going to add that line item.
He'll come back tomorrow from vacation and feel like it's Christmas.
Well,
At least until the budget meeting.
Right across from my office, where Twice Better is now, okay, where Chef Buddy's used to be, that street that goes, right, and that goes up by the water tower. But the end of it is, I don't think we own that, the very end of it. Okay.
And Charlotte, we have this picture in our package, right? So what's the story with that? Is that something that maybe?
Yeah, well, shouldn't we, why don't we vote, can we go ahead and vote on our changes and accept, and make a motion to accept the CIP as with the changes?
Can we ask anybody else if they want any other input?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, would the audience have any comments?
Rose, Chet, any additional
comments?
projects?
I'm just happy you're discussing this. The sooner the better.
It's nice to see a smile on your face.
Finally.
Well, I feel sorry for the children and the new families that are coming in here. You know, Chad did a study, tell me a study about wives and keeping homes and.
Who decides on where a couple lives? 92% of the time, it's the woman. So what you gotta do is satisfy the woman if you want people to come here. And if you satisfy her parts for her children, that's the quickest route to her heart. I think you're doing the right thing.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, your motion.
Is 4E, did we discuss 4E, the last one on lights, or we're not going to, or what? So we need to include that before we do any motions?
We can, yes, ma'am. You want me to go ahead?
Well, I think we have, at this point, $10,000 left, am I right, for lighting? Is that what we have in this? We have
We can put this all in, Mr. LeBlanc, and then what we'll do after
shift
is,
things around later?
yeah, if we need
Okay,
to.
that's
But
fine.
we'll go ahead and
Okay.
we, at least give us a little direction on it.
Yeah.
Now, we're providing an update on the suggested lights and phased approach for installing decorative LED lighting within the CRA district through Duke Energy Outdoor Lighting. Now, you made a good point because we may not have enough money to do all of the lighting. However, because Duke has a program for municipalities and we were able to meet with them, the example that is in the packet, they spoke with us and said that there are other options because of us being a municipality and then also the needs that we have for outdoor lighting and things of that nature for the Shine Down. It was amazing to be able to see what they offer, and then you can look at the polls. Help me out with this. What did he say about what was all the way around it?
Oh, they can take, instead of, you think of solar like it's a flat panel, and they have them like real big, and some of them just have flat top. You know, you bought little yard things with the flat top, and it has solar. But they have a wrap now, so the pole is actually wrapped with the solar panel, and it's black. If you look real close, you can kind of see it's got some solar-looking stuff on it, but they actually wrap it, it's black, and they wrap the pole. But they said, this is what he said, and this is what I remember. Since we already have underground power, And the solar, this is like, kind of like, they're expensive. So that's more for you don't have underground, because if you have underground, it's not going to be hurricane sensitive and all of that. So since we already have underground, we really could utilize that and not go to the expense for the solar wrap. But it is interesting because you don't have to run electric underground.
Yeah, I agree with that,
Yes.
though. Yeah. That we
Ms. Hayes
should
has
stick
it.
with our power. Since we already have the underground infrastructure, the simplest thing to do is just pop the top off and put a new top on it. But to LED light bulbs, which is cheaper on electricity and, you know, and it has downlight. So we need to really focus on downward light.
He's-
Yeah.
He said that he's going to come down, he's going to try, he said he could probably come down here before next council meeting, because he said there's a lot more than in the brochures that we've looked at. He said they have so many more options. They just don't put them out there. So he said he would come down and look at everything for us, make a trip.
Yeah, can we, like, all be a part of that? In which case, maybe he has got to come in front of a meeting. But I'd love to be a part of looking at the light options and discussing what options we want to take, right? And I think our plan was last year was, let's go ahead and phase. We'll do Interlake, we'll do Maine, we'll do Dow Hall, and just, you know, if we can't afford to do it all at one time, let's break it up and do it in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, right? But I think we should find the right light, test it out. Everybody sees it in place at night, showing light, and then say, okay, we all agree on that light, you know, and then let's, you know, make the plan to distribute it over time. But I would like to see those options.
Well, I got to tell you the truth, the one that was in the packet, I do not like.
Yeah, if you
It's
look,
too modern, and if we're going to get the Victorian benches and all, I don't think this one goes. So I did go to the Duke Power site, and they have a lot of lights. And I don't know if it has to be a downlight or just a stronger LED. I just did not like this one.
It really has to be somewhat of a downlight because you want to be dark sky compliant. And that's when your light escapes out, then you're not dark sky compliant.
Do we have to be dark sky compliant?
You want to be to kind of be politically correct, yes.
I think everybody's heading in that direction.
Yeah,
and I think
it
we
really
should
is,
too.
it's a thing to do, but
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that we could do is get Duke down here and get the merchants in here and let them see what lights are available. They will totally all disagree, but at least they will all have had a say. And so, you know, as much as I truly hate those boards with the little Post-it notes, but sometimes that's what you got to do. And put some lights out with the Post-it notes. They could do a little thing in the parking lot. They could put the lights up and, you know, things like that. They will do it. And did I not understand that they had like a leasing program where we can do our whole town, but we get on a lease? And that way, we don't have this whole big hit to our town. It's a little at a time, so.
I would look at the cost, because in our subdivision, we lease all of the lights, and just the subdivision lights are $1,000 a month. $1,200 is an electric bill a month.
Yeah, and
So,
you pay
I mean, just
forever.
take a look at it. Now, the good news is when, lights out or damaged, right, they come and repair it. The better news is we recently replaced them all with LED. They did it. You know, no cost to us. They came in and, that's the same thing as Charlotte. I don't know if we own all the lights going down 27, or we own them, right? Or do we lease them? Because we leased them, they had a change-out program that they wanted to do, and boy, they came in, and now we've got people saying it's too bright.
But
it's
brighter, isn't it?
much brighter and a lower electric bill, too.
Yeah.
And they paid for it all. We didn't do anything. The fixtures allowed them to come in and do it. I don't need to be involved in any. I will trust you guys, whatever you come up with. I would just add, and I like the idea with the merchants, because Main Street, again, Main Avenue is dark. It's very dark. Now, not down at the Journal Plaza, because they've got all the decorative lights, which is great, but you get past that.
I got the numbers right here.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll leave it to you guys. I mean, with what you're talking, are you talking the pole and everything, or with the pole stays and we do something up above? That's where I would look at. We've already paid just recently for all those poles is what can you have that's compatible for just to get us the brighter light? And I'll leave it to you guys for cosmetics and all that. That's not my area of expertise. I just want to be able to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, all right, so I don't think anybody in the audience anymore.
So how much money are we allocating for this, or we're not yet, or what?
Well, that's what I was going to say, is like Mr. Blanc said, that if we have 10,000 left over, we could put a 10,000 there, and then as Councilwoman Hayes stated, that once we discussed with them and said we knew we wouldn't have enough money in our CRA. However, it may be enough to get started, and they said they would come out, be able to develop a plan for us, be able to have the conversation, we could find out what the cost would be associated with it, but we could at least put it on there for right now and then explore it more in depth when they come and present and see what our options are.
So how much?
10,000, we'll just put a 10,000 placeholder there for now.
Okay, so we're going to add that as well.
I mean, obviously, we know it will be more.
So basically, 10,000 for exploration.
Well, we can just put it, street lighting, and then
Right.
use it for whatever.
Right.
So I guess the big question is, because we have to have, things have to be on here in category in order to actually be able to do them, even though we can move things around between categories. If the category's not there, we can't touch it next year, right? Is there anything new we want to add on that's not there? I mean, I think we have a lot on there to work with still, but is there anything that anybody has that's not on here that we need to add as a new item, you know? I can't think of anything.
We added the
but-
bathrooms.
Yeah.
We've added the street lights. We added paving.
Sidewalks? But there's no money. I mean, Charlotte, to what you just said, I like that a lot, because there's a lot of these things we want to get done, but we can't all at once. So then let's just make a, I mean, I'm a business plan, like a 5-year business plan, right? And at the end of 5 years, this is what we plan to get done. These streetlights will be replaced, the benches will be replaced, you know, the paving will be done. By then, a lot of the master plans that, you know, with Alan, with the stormwater and some of the other, I think roads master plan, right? Then we'll have a better idea of how we can better manage over the next so many years. It'll make this process easier.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the CIP with the changes?
So move.
Second. Any more discussion? Anything from the public? Anything from the dais? Please call.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
I did.
And I made the second.
Okay, thanks.
Please call the roll. You say roll vote.
Councilmember Hayes,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Worley,
Yes.
Councilmember Charles,
Yes.
Councilmember Eberhardt,
Yes.
Board Member Hartzell,
Yes.
Board Member LeBlanc.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's see. Ms. Charles?
So next steps on this will be, you'll incorporate all this, and then the next week, I think, the budget workshop for the town, this will be part of that. So we may get some more public input to make some changes. Maybe not exactly CRA, but my concern as you look at the town budget is, do we need to add a project manager? Because again, we've had all this money this year, we had all these great ideas, and here we are carrying most of the money over. Why? Because you need project managers, you need the cost, you need whether it's grants that might be out there for lighting and all that. So it's like, in order to get, I think, a lot of these things done, we may need a dedicated staff, and maybe it's a contract, versus hiring somebody full-time. So I'll just leave that to you to think about.
We actually have a project manager that's being advertised right now, and we have applications that are coming in. I will tell you that we are either getting very, very, very experienced and outside of a price range that we can afford, even a higher salary than even I make. And I said, well, you want my job here. We can't pay for some of the services. We do have our library. that we can utilize. However, we have a project manager position that is being advertised right now, and it is already in the budget.
Okay,
So
that's good.
we have some who have the experience and would be great, and so we're trying to evaluate what it looks like for the needs that we have. But
And
very
would
good
that
point.
project manager position be for all the projects, or I'm not familiar with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this an added head?
It's added right now, and so it was listed as Assistant Utility Director / Project Manager, but they would primarily be handling all of our projects. So it would be Police Department, it would be all of the projects that we have, pickleball, it would be everything.
And is permissible to have them work on CRA projects?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
he's going to work on all the,
All the
he or
projects.
she will work
Would
on
work on
every
all the projects.
project we have and coordinate those, so. Ms.
And then we
Hayes?
have our grant, the grant platform to help with the management of the grants as well, for grant stuff.
That's it.
Ms. Hayes?
I feel good at what we did tonight. I think we made a lot of progress. I'm certain that I kept up with the notes for a while, but I think I have a few too many arrows, so I'm really happy to see a clean version somewhere, but I'm really pleased with what we did tonight.
Mr. LeBlanc?
Yeah, me too, and I agree with what Colleen Charles says, is that it would be nice if there was somebody who could, push a lot of these things through, because we realize the current staff is overwhelmed. So any help in getting these things accomplished in as timely a fashion as possible would be great. And once they're done with the master plan, and is there any update on the master plan? Are they on schedule to give it to us in November?
Yes, I actually saw her for the downtown master plan. I saw her when we were at the conference, and she said that it's forthcoming, so it shouldn't be too long.
Yeah, because that hopefully will result in more ideas of things that we should be planning for in the future, right? So-
The Dow Hall Master Plan, meaning Florida, what's a Dow Hall Master Plan?
The
Oh,
downtown, I'm
Master
sorry,
Plan.
downtown
Yeah, yeah.
master plan.
That's the regional planning, is that Jennifer?
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
with the Central Florida Regional Plan.
Which is supposed to be ready like November to present to us, if I remember right.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good.
I think we're all kind of afraid to make a move right now because we're waiting for that master plan.
A lot of master plans.
Yeah.
Mr. Hartzell? Any comments, ideas? No? Ms. Eberhardt?
No.
Okay, I'm also, I just think y'all are just doing a great job. So, okay, hearing nothing else,